transparently, and we will continue to update customers through the councillors and also through other mediums.
The City of Tshwane has given its Chief Financial Officer, Gareth Mnisi, 7 days to provide reasons why he should not be placed on precautionary suspension. Mnisi was recently implicated at the Madlanga Commission, where testimony linked him to alleged attempts to manipulate tenders. The City Council resolved last night to begin disciplinary proceedings against him, after which a decision will be made regarding his future within the Metro. Tshwane Mayoral spokesperson Samkelo Mgobozi says an investigation into the CFO's alleged involvement in tender manipulation will also be initiated.
An independent investigator will be appointed to investigate the allegations of potential misconduct. This is to ensure that the process is objective, credible, and capable of withstanding scrutiny. This step reflects the seriousness with which the city is addressing allegations relating to financial governance, accountability, and oversight.
The DA in Tshwane, meanwhile, has accused the city of applying selective accountability after suspending one MMC over corruption allegations, while another facing the same accusations remains at work. Corporate and Shared Services MMC Kolofelo Morodi was recently slapped with a suspension after the Madlanga Commission heard she allegedly attempted to rig a multi-million rand tender. Tshwane Deputy Mayor and ANC Regional Leader Eugene Modise has been linked to a company that allegedly benefited from an irregular tender, but he remains at work. Alfara Mushwana reports.
Triatic Protection Services is a security company that was previously owned by Tshwane Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise. The company is among 22 firms that scored a 2.9 billion rand security tender, which had been flagged as irregular way before it was awarded. While Modise claims to have sold the company, an independent forensic investigation has found that he still benefits from it. DA mayoral candidate Celia Brink says it's hypocritical that Corporate and Shared Services MMC Kolofelo Morodi is on suspension for being implicated at the Madlanga Commission while Modise isn't.
What we expected was leadership from Mayor Nasipi Moya. She acted swiftly against Kolofelo Morodi. Another MMC was suspended, mentioned at the Madlanga Commission, but Modise stays in place.
Meanwhile, Tshwane Mayor Nasipi Moya says Modise's matter is still being dealt with internally and will soon be subject to council. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
The Auditor General says unqualified reports are being used to mask deeper financial failures in the public sector. Takane Maluleke says unqualified audits are not a benchmark and only show that financial statements filed with her office are correct. She says this does not demonstrate improvements in financial management and not something to be celebrated. Yesterday, she presented audit outcomes for the last financial year, which show long-term stagnation with 13 entities stuck in the unqualified category for a decade. Only 151 government entities received unqualified audits out of 417, and this represents 36% of the total number of audited entities who look after only 12% of the budget. Maluleke says 266 departments and entities that look after 88% of the budget have not received clean audits.
There's a culture within the public sector where accounting officers simply don't have the wherewithal to manage staff and to manage suppliers. And that we must question the executive authority on the tone, the expectation and support that they're offering to the accounting officer.
Gold's trading at $4,460.45 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.79 to the pound, 19.72 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $107.94 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 North. This is between Boyson's Road and Carr Street. There's also queuing traffic reported in Egurileni on the N3 North. This is between Linksfield Road and Morofontein Road. That's due to an accident.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: with almost half of Roodepoort without electricity, City Power and Eskom teams are continuing with repairs this morning.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for being with us here on 702. I hope you're good this morning and I hope your week is wrapping up on a good note. It's a Friday, and every single Friday we do Gratitude Friday. What are you grateful for this week? You know, this is where you can call us and share with us what you are grateful for this week. What happened this week that reminded you of how blessed you are? We have to inculcate the culture of gratitude, and in this show, every Friday we try and just count our blessings. And your blessing doesn't have anything big or anything small. It could be anything. Whether you got that job you wanted, maybe you aced that presentation yesterday, that board meeting. Maybe you got your first client or your second, or you passed your exam. Whatever it is. Or maybe she said yes, or he said yes, and you proposed. What are you grateful for this week? So maybe you're just grateful that you've got a roof over your head. That, my friend, is a blessing. So why don't you give us a call on 011-883-0702 and tell us what you are grateful for this week. WhatsApps 072-702-1702. So, Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, has been disinvited from the upcoming G7 summit. Reports are suggesting that the United States apparently put pressure on France to withdraw an invitation to our president, even threatening to boycott the summit if South Africa attended. And speaking on the matter, the president has tried to diffuse the situation by saying South Africa is not being snubbed by G7 as it is not a member state, but it's raising a number of interesting questions outside of geopolitics. But I mean, if you follow what the Presidency Spokesperson Vincent Magwenya said, he indicated that the summit is happening in June, and they were informed a few weeks back via the embassy, and he said, we accepted the French decision and appreciate the pressure that they've been subjected to. There's no need to seek further clarification. South Africa will always endeavor to resolve disputes through constructive dialogue, regardless of the posture that is adopted by the other party. So you can tell that from the presidency's point of view, that the messaging here is, we know that France was put under pressure by the U.S. But when I read on News 24, let me try find it for you, because they quoted the Foreign Affairs Minister from the U.S. I'm going to try find it for you. Yes, the Office of the French Foreign Minister, Jean-Noël Barrot, who apparently on Thursday evening denied to News 24 that Paris had acted under pressure from the U.S. The quote says, we have always relied on South Africa and respect the important role it plays in international affairs. As for the G7, we have chosen to invite Kenya in light of the work we are doing together to prepare for the Africa Forward Summit, the Africa France Summit, which will take place on the 11th and 12th of May in Nairobi. We have not yielded to any pressure, but we have made a choice consistent with our decision to hold a streamlined G7 focused on geopolitical issues. We remain, of course, in close contact with South Africa, which remains an essential partner of France on all major global issues. So basically, they were officially denying that they've been put under pressure. But what do you think is at play here? You can share your thoughts on 011-883-0702. WhatsApp's on 072-702-1702. So for me, I mean, I'm being light now, right? For me, it also felt like a friend group dynamics, if you will. Like, and I wonder, you know that feeling when you have a friend group, you're part of this group, but not really fully. And sometimes you have to sort of manage the friendships. Because France is friends with both of us and the US, but now they have to decide who comes to this important event, or who do we invite to this wedding, to this party, and who do we not? So how do you even manage beef amongst your friends? How do you navigate situations like that? I'm sure there's some of you listening to this and you can relate, eh? Do you have dynamics like that in your friendship group where you, especially, and I think it happens a lot for mostly younger generation. I mean, I wonder if people over 50 have to deal with, that one doesn't like that one, therefore we can't invite that one to this party because that one is coming. Or I could be mistaken. Please let me know. But my experience is that I see it happening among mostly young friendship groups and among young people. So if you want to share your experience, please feel free. 011-883-0702. You can send a WhatsApp as well. And then I see that there are a number of people that are raising their disappointment with what Julius Malema said on the show yesterday. Some people feel like he didn't have to be going on attack against people that he has helped. So I'm going to play you a clip, and I want to hear from you whether you see anything wrong with what he said. You know, of course, in the past, this is vintage Julius Malema. He's always this raw when it comes to people who are either betraying him or the organization, or just criticizing, other politicians. And it's not just him. I mean, when you look at whether it's Floyd Shivambu, even when he was in the EFF, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, they have been quite brutal towards other politicians. And I wonder if you think yesterday Julius Malema took it a step too far, or do you think, well, that's the man that we're essentially used to? The context here, so that you get it, and please go check out the full interview. You can check it on podcast, primemediaplus.com, or just Google Clement Manyathela Show, Julius Malema interview. It should pop up. You can watch it on YouTube as well, on our 702 YouTube page. But I asked him about why the posture he took towards Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. I told him there are people who feel like you are attacking Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And I even mentioned Mbuyiseni Ndlozi. I said, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi tweeted that, hands off Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, we must not allow this man to be attacked. And I literally quoted what Mbuyiseni Ndlozi said. And then Julius responded and spoke about how this is not an attack, right? And he took offense to people who are also, when he was busy mourning, they are coming out and they are attacking him. And these are the same people that he has helped before in the past. And I think that's the context that you want to get. That during the time when he was still mourning his aunt, this is when the conversation was happening. He went to the rally. That's when he said what he said about Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And then that's when you started seeing some people who support Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi responding to what he said and said, why are you attacking him? You are being unfair. And Mbuyiseni Ndlozi also seemed to enter that fray. This is now Julius saying, some people have assisted and they didn't even send me a message of condolences, and the first thing they're doing is to just attack me. Here's what he said yesterday.
There are people I buried their parents. They never even sent me a message. I mean, one of them, I went to their family home and they were feeding people a tin fish at the funeral. I had to take a decision there and there to go and buy a cow. And today they insult me during my bereavement.
Is that Mbuyiseni Ndlozi?
No. I mean, that will be a level of degeneration. Some of them, I took them to circumcision, by the way. I took them literally to hospital to be circumcised. And today they think they can speak to me the way they want. So, and the things we did to President Zuma, and is able to put aside those things and still come together and say, sorry, always when a black person dies, it affects all of us. Is that majority? I mean, not majority. But I've not done anything to President Zuma except to fight with him. I'm just giving you an example of people I did things for them. And then they still can say all manner of things. And I look at them, I'm like, before you can take care of any nation, learn to take care of your family first.
Yeah. So that's what he said yesterday. So let me know what your thoughts are. He was trying to say some people were coming and attacking me, and I've helped them so much, and yet they didn't even send me condolences. All they did was just respond to what I said about Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. I mean, you know exactly, the kind of people that he's talking about. These are people that he was clearly close to. And he seems to be betrayed, that after everything I've done for you, because he mentions that even Dalimpofu came to the funeral, came to pay his respects, and yet other people that he has supported have not been there. But my point here is, Julius Malema has said disparaging things before, whether against Jacob Zuma, whether against Cyril Ramaphosa, whether against Fikile Mbalula and other politicians, even journalists. And I wonder if the reason there's a response towards him this time when he says what he has said now, that is because of the posture that he's taken towards Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. And again, to be fair, I mean, he didn't say they don't support Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi anymore. He just took offense to the fact that Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi didn't give full context to how Julius Malema, ended up meeting him, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, through General Khan, because the impression created by Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, according to Julius, is Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi says, I met Julius through Khan, and I didn't have to meet Julius through Khan. But Julius Malema says, but it's you, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, who called Khan and said, please connect me with Julius Malema. And that's why Malema says Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi was being disingenuous. Let me know your thoughts. Give me a call, send me a WhatsApp voice note. At 10 o'clock, we're going to do the Across the Desk feature. And today I'm hosting Set Designers. When we watch television, like we're watching a play at the theater, we're sitting down or at home for a local TV drama, or we're going to the movies, we're often focused on the actors and the story, but we don't always think about the space that they're in, right? That living room that looks like a real family home, or the office that feels busy and believable, or that stage that suddenly turns into a school or a hospital or even a whole street. And those couches, those tables, all those things are designed by people. These are people who help tell the story without anyone saying a word. And in fact, I'll call them silent actors, if you will. So they're going to be joining us to talk about their work between 10 and 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship and sex feature. Today, we're discussing navigating sexuality within relationships. And if you want to tell your story maybe on email, you can send me an email right now on cm@702.co.za. I'll read it when we start this chat at 11 o'clock. But yeah, navigating sexuality within a relationship can be deeply complex, especially when one partner begins to question their sexual identity, right? It's completely normal, sure, for people to explore and reassess their sexuality over time. It can feel disorientating, particularly for those who have long identified though as heterosexual or who are identified as gay or lesbian. And now suddenly you're starting to think, oh, now I have to tell my husband that I'm attracted to the lady at work, which suggests then that, it's a same-sex attraction. Or maybe you want to tell your same-sex partner that I'm now attracted to the opposite sex outside. How do you navigate a situation like that? That's going to be our chat at 11 o'clock on our relationship feature. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement. I'm so grateful of life, man. Someone who's always on the road. When I look at the accidents that are happening, I see that sometimes to go out and come back home, it's something you have to be grateful for. Vusi here, run back.
Hi, Clement. I'm so blessed in that after becoming a widow 5 years ago, that I've lost everything, but I've been able to have work and have been able to have a life that, although it was tough at first, but, there is a scripture that says, I will be a husband to the widows. And recently my contract ended, but before my contract ends, I had another job. And this has been the pattern of my life for the past 50 years. So I'm very grateful and to have a job and to have good health and to live in a beautiful country with blue skies and sunshine. Thank you, Clement. Beautiful show.
Oh, thank you very much. Nontlantla, you are calling us from Everton. Good morning.
Morning, Clement. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. What do you want to say about these comments by Julius Malema?
Yeah, Clement. I paid attention yesterday, trying to understand where did this come from. But when it get to tin fish, I was like, wow, that's being very childish. He really stooped very low. He's being ghetto, like, Clement, wow, you can't help me, and then the next thing now you exposing my other weaknesses, and that's like very personal. They don't respect us, these politicians, and wow. I'm very disappointed, Isham. Very much disappointed.
Nontlantla in Everton, thank you so much for your thoughts. Let's go to Lerato in Nigel. Lerato, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Clement. I am grateful for my parents. That's what I want to say today. That my dad, when I go to the office, he's able to fetch my daughter from school. So, those things, it was her birthday this week. My dad had to take the party pack to school because it was my office day. So I'm very grateful that, they even took her out for lunch while I wasn't there and I couldn't make it, but because of the support. So grateful for parents, and that I'm grateful that they're also staying near, like 3 kilometers away from my house. So it's always easy for me to access them and for them. So I'm so grateful for having parents.
Thank you, Lerato, for appreciating.
Their name is Mr. and Mrs. Machacha. Thank you, Clement.
Machacha. Mr. and Mrs. Machacha, you win the award for the best parents and grandparents ever. Lerato in Nigel, thank you for your call. We have to appreciate our parents and these grandparents are working really hard, and some of us, I know, we think they owe us a favor to look after our kids. No, they actually don't. They've got their own lives. It's your responsibility to look after your kids. So when they make time, when they are intentional about being a continuous part of their grandchildren's lives, and they help you with taking them to schools, picking them up, taking care of them while you are on holiday, while you're on that work trip, you need to be grateful for that. Show them appreciation, because they don't owe that to you. They're being helpful and they deserve to be appreciated, and I'm glad that Lerato is doing exactly that. More of your calls and WhatsApps after the break. It's 25 after 9.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
I went into the police station last week to get a certification on my documents, and boom, there was Senzo Mchunu's portrait hanging from the wall, and I went like, kindly, can you tell me what is happening here? Why is he still up there? And believe you me, poor policemen could not answer me. They just said, ma'am, we don't know.
He is still the police minister. Feroz Kachalia is an acting police minister. He remains your police minister, I'm afraid.
Thank you for nothing.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
This Sunday, something big is going down. The DP World Lions are in the one-day cup final at the DP World Wanderers Stadium. The match starts at 10 a.m., so it's the perfect day out with friends and family, and tickets are only 50 Rand. Look forward to big hits, big moments, live music, great food, ice cold drinks, and your shot at 50,000 Rand with the one-handed catch. So, round up your crew, fill the stadium, and back the pride. Sunday, the 29th of March, 10 a.m. DP World Wanderer Stadium. Hashtag the pride of Jozi.
Need a seat? Try 7 or 5. It's your call. Want a sunroof? Make it a panoramic. Gotta have power? How does award-winning 138 kilowatt sound? The Changan CS75 Pro is big enough for the kids, smart enough for your playlist, and stylish enough for your Friday night too. Why settle when you can have it all without compromise? The Changan CS75 Pro. Drive tomorrow's SUV today. Visit changanmotors.co.za for more.
Changan, driven to evolve.
Zakes owns an electrical business that lit up the neighborhood. Literally. One small spark, one big legal nightmare. But he has public liability insurance from Budget. The damage was covered and his clients sorted. Sharp. To get public liability cover, visit budgetinsurance.co.za. Budget Insurance, official insurer for good South Africans. Budget is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
There are some things in life you can't replace. You know, the essentials. Dinners with the ones you love.
Dad, it's on fire.
Coffees, discussing the ones you used to love.
It was standard 4, Mom. Time to let go.
Watching movies as you fall in love.
It's really smoky in here.
Get what you love for less with SA's best furniture essentials on sale right now at DecoFurn. In-store or at decofurnsa.co.za.
20% off everything. Get to Dial-A-Bed today for amazing savings. All our famous brands in all sizes, all less 20%. Shop in-store or online today for your less 20%. Plus, get fast delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life. Offer excludes bases bought separately.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
If you decide that you're not going to get tax revenue from one source, presumably that money's got to come from somewhere else? Or is it fair to say what you can do is cushion the public from this really, I called it, brutal increase?
The difficulty here is that what we are trying to tackle is a question of the limitations of a levy system. You look at how the fuel price is determined in South Africa, there are two levies in particular. There's a general levy and then there's a specific levy which goes to the road accident fund.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
702 Afternoon Drive with John Perlman is proudly brought to you by Telkom Business. Possible begins here.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 29 after 9. Letlogonolo, you're in Centurion. Good morning. Sure, man. Go ahead.
Money Major, morning to you, man. Morning to you and the team. Money Major, I've been trying to do this to just appreciate myself and my team. Money Major, I got a bunch of young boys and a gentleman that works with me and that wants to be part of this growth that we have, Money Major. If there's one person that would know it, one of the people that you'd know, it would be you and the other people in 702 when I talk about business. When I spoke about my business when I started it, we used to rent equipment in order to go and do our work, go and service our work. And we're at the stage now where we hardly rent out on equipment. We'll only rent out on equipment on a busy week like this one. But other weeks that requires what we have, we are able to manage it. We are able to service those clients. And, it hasn't been easy, Madi Major. It hasn't been easy. And the fact that we go do this thing and we don't appreciate ourselves, the effort that we put, the sleepless nights, Madi Major. So, we acquired that, we acquired property, we acquired the Krapenyana, that used to be a problem on delivering, that we're busy fixing. Yeah. But Madi Major, we're growing. The growth is there,
good.
and the team that wanna grows with you. It's the team that you keep, Madi Major.
Yeah, Hlonolo, kudos to you and the team. Thank you so much for your call. It's 9:31. Time for the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. More of your calls and WhatsApps after the breaks. Viso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Eastern Cape ANC leader Oscar Mabuyane will come head-to-head with former ally, Provincial Secretary Lulama Ngcukaitobi, when more than 1,000 delegates take to the ballots this weekend. Mabuyane is running for a third term as the party's leader in what is one of the ANC's last strongholds. Political parties are once again calling for convicted foreign nationals to be deported to decrease overcrowding in the country's prisons. There are more than 26,000 foreign nationals incarcerated in correctional facilities, costing South African taxpayers around 11 million rand a day. Action SA, the ACDP, FF Plus and the DA were among parties who yesterday called for urgent legislation to facilitate their deportation as the National Assembly debated the impacts overcrowding is having on inmates' human rights. And Australia says it was not consulted by the US over the war with Iran, which is having a massive global economic impact. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has responded to US President Donald Trump's swipe that the US ally is not doing enough to dispatch warships to secure crucial oil supply in the Strait of Hormuz. The war has engulfed much of the Middle East since the US and Israel launched strikes against Iran on February 28. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, leaving Merton could still be problematic this morning. We still have got that accident scene on the R59 North right after Kliprefir Drive, causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N3 North approaching Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks along this route. While heading towards the Modderfontein Road exit in the Edenville area, do expect delays coming out of the Kilulis interchange. That's due to an accident there. The N3 South is also backed up as a result coming out of Modderfontein Road. If you were traveling out of the city of Tshwane, particularly on the N1 South, we've got some issues approaching New Road. That's due to roadworks along this route. So please be on the lookout there and approach with care. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's continue with your calls and WhatsApps on the 702 open line. Tulani, let's start with you in Pretoria. What are your thoughts on those comments by Julius yesterday? Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Sharp, man. Go ahead.
Sharp. I think for me is that it's said that Julius chooses how he feels and his followers must do the same and they will take even what we're gonna say here. But for me is that you can't. I can't remember. Is it a year or two where he said, "Don't help me," and then come and talk about helping me. But he's doing the same thing with Ndlozi. The same thing that he said about MK. We don't want to see them in funerals. We don't want to see them in stadiums. Now Zuma is a hero because he came. So for me, it's very saddening that as a leader, every time you call him a flip-flopper, he will just also deny. But also with you on a parting shot, that the way I watched clips where you mopped your floor with the guy who took money from Mashaba, but I thought you're gonna do the same thing with Julia Mashele. I think Prince Mashele.
Uh-huh.
The way you did an interview with him, but I thought maybe we're going to do the same thing with Julia, challenge him to say, I'm asking you that, are you talking about Ndlozi? Because you asked him, I talking about Ndlozi, but he did not, he said, let's not generate, but he was doing the same thing. So I thought maybe you would challenge him on that point.
And say what?
And ask him to say, are you really saying Ndlozi? And if or not, who are you talking about? Because he likes...
Well, he said he doesn't want to say who. He said, I don't want to degenerate and say who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so
but that's what I'm saying. That maybe yesterday we woke up on a nice side of the bed, but nice show. But okay,
but what? Tell me, Tulan, because I want that feedback. So if you say to someone, "Who are you talking about?" and they say, "No, I don't want to degenerate into that," How else do I force them to do that?
But you already degenerated by talking about tin fish and all of those things. But if you don't have to degenerate, you don't talk about it. You just say, I've helped people and whatever, but don't talk about tin fish, circumcision, all these things. But then when you challenge him, he says, I don't know to degenerate. You already degenerated already. And you always like to degenerate. And something.
But politicians degenerate all the time. Tulani Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, has degenerated. Do you know the comments he's made about other politicians when he's in the EFF?
Yes.
So the minute you play that game of politicians, That's how they operate. This is not the first time Julius Malema makes such disparaging comments. Do you remember what Julius has said about Thuli Madonsela? How he looks like? Do you know what Julius has said about our former colleague, Sidi Madia? Do you know the body shaming things that he has said before?
So, but it doesn't make it right. And
it doesn't make it right. But the point I'm trying to make is, this is not the first time that politicians degenerate at this level. And my worry is, because we've raised it many times, we've always criticized why are you mentioning Thuli Madonsela's looks? Like, we've spoken about that many times on shows, and we get attacked for it. What's surprising me now is there are certain people who used to defend Julius Malema's comments about other politicians. And now, because Julius Malema is seemingly seen to be attacking General Mkhwanazi, even though he has said that's not an attack on him, those people then are taking offense. But you never took offense when Julius Malema went after Thuli Madonsela or many other people, or body shamed other people. But now, because he's touched somebody that you don't want touched, then you get offended. That's where the inconsistency is.
Yes, and I think hence I'm saying that I think we need to be consistent and always call them out, because at the end of the day, it can't be right that people are going to say things and we say and then they are politicians. But these people are leaders. People are looking up to them. There's many people who are voting for all the political leaders, but they need to conduct themselves in a manner which is admirable, because at the end of the day, politicians have got a lot of impact in their society.
But then, are you if you don't mind me asking, Thulani, are you a supporter of the EFF?
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
but
so
I don't hate them. I don't hate them.
So the EFF supporters, EFF members need to hold their leaders accountable. All you and I can do is to question it, is to criticize it. We don't really have much power around it. We've done that. So the EFF members must be the ones that come out and say, that's not a leader that we want, if really they get offended by that. What I know has been inconsistent, though, is they have supported him when he has said some really terrible things about other politicians. And this time around, they want to act like, no, we can't have a leader like that. Then that's too inconsistent for me.
And I fully agree with you. The same, even the party that I like, if the person comes, I'll call him and say, this person was wrong. Because at the end of the day, a wrong, it doesn't have a face of a party. A wrong is a wrong at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, true. Tulani in Pretoria, thank you so much for your call, brother. Let's go to your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Morning, Clement. It's funny how now, because it's Malema, we all of a sudden have begin. I mean, I'm not condoning what he said, but this is classic Malema, and let's not act as if this is how he's always spoken. Not particularly because this involves ex-members of the EFF. I mean, even Mbuiseni Ndlozi himself, when he was a member of the EFF, Bo Floyd Shivambu, this is how they spoke. I mean, this is almost the political language in the landscape of South African politics. I mean, let's go back to the days of Batabile Dlamini, during the Zuma days, Nomvula Mokonyane. This is how, across the political divide, political rhetoric has always been vile and mean and cruel. Prince in Bedfordview.
Yeah,
when it rains, it pours. Over 108 million rand was won last week Friday. And now another winner of over 4 million rand on Tuesday. You could be next. Step into the downpour and play Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 54 million rand jackpot this Friday. Don't miss out. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old and play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
These holidays, millions of South Africans dream of a well-earned getaway. The reality, however, can be very different.
Look like the kind of place that'll only get dusted for fingerprints.
Accommodation can look great online, but in reality...
Never seen a home look so homeless.
Sadly, they've been flat-fished. That's why City Lodge brings you SOS. Visit saveourstay.co.za for City Lodge hotels nearby and up to 30% off. Getting flat-fished is hard. Check into easy. T's and C's apply.
Looking for a new ride this Easter? Get the new Polo Vivo 1.4 Life from Barron's Volkswagen with a full basket of extras from only 3490, including a 3-year full maintenance plan, alloy wheels, parking package, and rear view camera. That's right, all of this for only 3490 per month. Hop on down to Barron's Woodmead or Barron's Broomer today to take advantage of this excellent deal. Barron's, the Volkswagen people.
Smart Steve from Momentum. Hello.
Stevie, it's Clinton Myers, the Minister of National Treasures.
Mr. Minister, how can Momentum Insure help you?
This economy is not helping with the cost of my gusheshe, my tires, man.
Just get Momentum Insure's safety returns and get up to 30% cash back, even if you claim.
Is it true?
Stru's Bob, Mr. Minister. Visit momentum.co.za or call 0860 006 784. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer. T's and C's apply.
It's time to save big. Don't miss out on Telkom's biggest sale of the year. Get unbeatable prices and incredible savings on smartphones, data, and more. Hurry! The Blue Bargain Sale is for a limited time. Call 10213, click telkom.co.za, download the My Telkom app, or visit any Telkom shop.
702 and the Discount Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
Hi, John. Being in its 10th year and why it's now called the Blankets Plus campaign is because we did identify a few years ago the need for beanies and gloves. And I think it's valuable to be able to share some warmth with these people. Pavements get incredibly cold. Nobody asks to be on the street. Being aware that people are there to do our bit and keep them a bit warmer, I think is a wonderful way to care for our communities. And it seems like such a small thing, but it does make such an incredible difference.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Discount Foundation, caring for the community on 702. Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
17 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Morning, Clement. Such is life, Clement. Such is life. So, America, I mean, it's a fact that America is a big player, it's a big economy. And you might find that even France is trying to, save its bilateral dealings with America. They're not going to come and fight our battles. This is our battles, and such is life, Sometimes we think our friends will be there every step of the way, but sometimes they're going to move away, sometimes you stand alone, in the midst of dark, and there's an idiom that says when days are dark, friends are few. That's what it is. That's life. But yeah, in terms of all generations, if banana rule na bala bona ba invite more, ba believer in unkabela dijoma na ba kan tebeletse type of thing. Yeah, but as regards Malema, I think he stooped low there. I think he stooped low. He hit under the belt. Someone Centurion.
Hello, good day, Clement. It's Bongani from Rodiport. These friendship dynamics, I see it mainly with women. Women have got friends dynamics like crazy. If the other one is invited to a party by maybe my wife, the other one doesn't come. They've got these, even grown women, she's, 48?
Jeez.
But they still have this girlish friendship squabbles. Women are just some, all right, I'm going to get into trouble, yeah? Yeah, it's mostly ladies that have these friend dynamics. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for your voice notes. And look, I mean, you're talking about, of course, from your experience and your own environment, because you're seeing that with your wife from what I'm picking up. And if you have just joined us and you missed what we spoke about earlier, this is in response to our country, South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa being disinvited from the upcoming G7 summits. Reports suggest that the United States allegedly put pressure on France to withdraw that invitation to Ramaphosa, because remember, France invited our president to come and attend the G7 summit. And I've been asking because France is friends with the US and it's also friends with us. And I think this actually exists in real life, where sometimes you have to make considerations about your friendships. And this listener suggests that it's, in his experience, it's mostly women who have that. Do we have guys who would say, and I'm sure they are out there, but what have you observed? Like, do you have guys who says, because Abel is coming to that party, no, I'm not coming? Yeah? How do you navigate that? And is it your experience as well that, like this listener argues, in his experience, there's a lot of women who do that, who will say, I'm not going to go because that other person is going. So, yeah, it really is quite tricky navigating things like that when you are friends and you are caught in the middle because you're friends with this person and that person, but they just don't get along, or that other person doesn't like this person. So now when I have events, I have to think carefully about who do I invite first, or do I not invite both of them? Because if you invite the other one may be upset at you. It's a bit childish, but it really is a dynamic that plays out in real life.
Morning, Clement. I think what Julia said, all of us, we've got the same problem, especially when it comes to Walebala syndrome. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. When a person reminds you of what he or she did for you, saying, Wahopola, I used to do this, Wahopola, I used to do that for you. Marawe, not today, you are doing this to me. So what Julia said, I don't think he was wrong. He's saying what he's feeling, and he's correct. Each and every one of us will say what he said. So I don't think Julius was wrong of what he said yesterday.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Hi, morning, Major and team. Maparia from Report. What I'm thankful for is Tuesday, it was my birthday. I was turning 34. I'm just grateful to be alive. Just grateful for life. Grateful that I reached the age. Not a lot of people are dying young. So I'm just grateful that I'm still alive, reached this age, and just continue trying to better myself.
Hi, Clement. Happy Friday. What I'm grateful for is having a medical aid. My son broke his foot and we went to the hospital and it was done and dusted within 2 days. Very, very grateful for that. I know it might sound a bit cheesy, but I'm really grateful. This is Shady from Springs.
Morning, Uncle Clement. This week I am grateful for being able to pay my debt. I have had debt for the longest time that has just been on my neck, stressing me, and I finally paid it off, and I am so grateful. Fifi here from Kempton Park.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, 702 Landers. My name is Lynette, and I'm an avid 702 listener, and I love being part of the 702 family.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery, and unveiling benefits. Apply today, it's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
When was the last time you felt something? Something that ignites your passion, gets your adrenaline pumping, and makes your heartbeat skip. When was the last time you fell in love? Introducing the new Alfa Romeo Junior with 280 horsepower and standard park assist. Learn to love again. Visit alfaromeo.co.za to book a test drive.
Andile here with more than just a betting app ad. Download the 10Bet app and enjoy the action of betting anytime, anywhere. It's more than just an app. It's a 10Bet experience. Join now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line is 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Vodacom's Red Hot Deals presents ready-to-use home internet with 400 gigs of anytime data, plus a Vodacom 5G home router with up to 20 megabits per second download speed for just $399 per month over 36 months. Miss it, miss out. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together, Vodacom.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
It's 8 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Hi, Clement. Sally here. I think we need to be a bit more careful on the French action. It seems to me that the government of France has spoken to the government of South Africa to say, this is what's going on. Okay, we want to invite you to this party that we're hosting, but the other guys that you really want to have at the table for a very important discussion are not willing to come if you're there. So, but you and I, we are still good friends. That's what South Africa was told by France. So we have a very solid relationship, but maybe agree to step aside for this one so that we can get the other guys at the table. And maybe while we have them at the table, we'll discuss the issue about you as well. I think it's a smart thing. I don't think people should look at France as having dropped South Africa. It doesn't make sense. I mean, they need to have America. America is part of the big problem that the world is facing right now. You got to get them at a table somehow. And to have South Africa there would be a distraction. And I think South Africa has the maturity to understand that.
There's this colleague I used to work with, and he likes to be bewitched. Like, he likes to say people are bewitching him. Like, there was one point where everybody in the office was bewitching him. So a friend of mine that I also worked with, we worked in the same department, had a birthday for his wife, and he invited all three of us. There's one guy who is always being bewitched by everybody, and the two colleagues, myself and this other guy. And he invited all three of us, even though we don't get along, and we all pitched.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, Clement. So, yesterday I got to graduate at the University of Johannesburg. My first degree at 33, chemical engineering.
Wow.
So grateful for that, man. It was a long walk, long story, but I'm so grateful. It was a great time for me.
Morning, Clement. Tomorrow I'm running 10K. That will be my first race as a blind person. So what I'm happy about, my training went well since Jan. Yeah, so I'm so glad. I can't wait. So yes, I'm so happy. I'm so excited. Tabang.
Tabang, please let us know. Please call us on Monday to tell us how it's gone. This is so exciting, man. Congratulations on some great training, and I can't wait to hear about it on Monday.
Morning, Clement. It's Mpoye, all the way from Venda. I just want to say that I am sincerely grateful for my father. My father has been with me when things were not looking good. I've seen that man fall down and rise again in order to advance my values as a young man growing up. So I want to salute him and say, may the good Lord protect him and be with him, and more power to him. I thank you.
Good morning, Clems. Hope you're good, man. Hey, Joe. Look, now I'm grateful for Spani. You know, waking up every single day knowing what a permanent thing. For me, that is a blessing. Understand? I can afford my lifestyle. I can afford my relationship. I can take care of my family. For that, man, I'm so much grateful, and I'll forever be grateful. And also, yes, even though we know our economy is taking a strive, but above all things, man, super grateful for Spani. Hola, Kemak Masari, Imapit. Hola.
Good morning, 702 family. Good morning, Clement. I am full of smiles. I'm so grateful to God. I mean, my daughter just reminded me now that it's been 20 years since she underwent a kidney and a liver transplant. Imagine. And she's in good health. So grateful for the donor, so grateful for everyone who has supported us. I mean, 20 years, but we thank God. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Bye. This is Ntswaki.
Thank you, Ntswaki. This is beautiful, man. This is incredible. That's why we do Gratitude Friday, because we must be reminded that in spite of everything else, there are a lot of things to be grateful for. If you really look within, regardless of what you're facing, there's something there. Your child having undergone a liver transplant at some point, and it's 20 years later. I'm sure you thought at the time they may not even live up to this point. So thank you for sharing what has made you happy this week. It's 2 minutes before 10.
Gear up for glorious Grand Slam success with Hollywood Bets. Take your tennis passion to new heights and feel every stroke, rally and match point as the drama unfolds at the Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon and US Open. The biggest stages in tennis have been set as the world's best go head-to-head for ultimate bragging rights. Bet now and make every moment count. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Some moments are personal. Some spaces are professional. All of them deserve care. At Frond and Filigree, we create handcrafted floral experiences for life's meaningful moments and the places where they happen. From birthdays and anniversaries to hotels, offices and events, our bespoke arrangements are designed with artistry and intention. Because when flowers are done right, they elevate every moment. Visit frondandfiligree.co.za.
Hey, today could be your last day stuck in the middle of taxi mads and 4-4 overload. Get the Haval Jolian Pro Limited Edition from only $4,699 per month with Apple CarPlay and a panoramic sunroof to start your journey to ultimate freedom. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Eastern Cape ANC leader Oscar Mabuyane will come head-to-head with former ally Provincial Secretary Lulama Ngcukaitobi when more than 1,000 delegates take to the ballot this weekend. Mabuyane is running for a third term as the party's leader in what is one of the ANC's last strongholds, but the conference has not been without drama. The High Court granted an interdict halting it from proceeding over branch disputes, but the ANC has since appealed the ruling. Babalondenze takes a look.
Oscar Mabuyane was elected ANC Provincial Secretary in 2009 before taking over as Provincial Chairperson in 2017. In 2017, Mabuyane won in a landslide at the same conference venue in East London that became famously known as the Festival of Chairs after brawling delegates assaulted each other with chairs. Mabuyane was re-elected in 2022 with Lulama Ngcukaitobi elected Provincial Secretary. The two will now contest the same position, but with Mabuyane considered the leading contender. Ngcukaitobi's slate includes Education MEC Fundile Gade for Deputy Provincial Chairperson, with former Nelson Mandela Bay Regional Secretary Luyolo Ngagula contesting for Provincial Secretary. Mabuyane's team includes his current Deputy Finance MEC Mlungisi Mvogo, who is vying to retain his post, while Deputy Secretary Helen Source August is hoping for a promotion to Provincial Secretary. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Kukompo.
Political parties are once again calling for convicted foreign nationals to be deported to decrease overcrowding in the country's prisons. There are more than 26,000 foreign nationals incarcerated in correctional facilities, costing taxpayers around 11 million rand a day. Actioners say the ACDP, FF Plus and the DA were among parties who yesterday called for urgent legislation to facilitate their deportation as the National Assembly debated the impact overcrowding is having on inmates' human rights. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
The country's prisons currently house 168,000 inmates, leading to an overcrowding rate of 57%. Action SA's Dereline James says it's unacceptable that more than 5 billion rand a year is spent on housing foreign nationals who have been convicted of crime in South Africa.
One simple solution to end overcrowding is to deport every single one of these foreign criminals to their country of origin and make their governments pay the cost. South Africa is not a hotel for housing foreign criminals.
The DA's Damian Klopper agreed.
We need an inmate exchange program and an expedited deportation process for those with minor offences.
The ACDP Steve Swart said if legislation is not drafted swiftly by the executive to address the issue of foreign inmates, Parliament's Correctional Services Committee should take the initiative to do so. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
The Zulu monarch King Msizulu Zwelithini has lobbied traditional leaders to rally behind the call for government to hand over the Ingonyama Trust Board to the Zulu Kingdom. The monarch wants the trust under his full control as it administers almost 3 million hectares of land in KZN. Last week, the board was dissolved by the Land Reform and Rural Development Department, but yesterday the Pietermaritzburg High Court overturned that decision. The king spoke at the opening of the House of Traditional Leaders in Ulundi.
You know the challenges that we face when it comes to the Ingonyama Trust Board, but we are not going to stop fighting because we want the board to be removed from Pretoria and be brought here so that we can run it ourselves.
And Australia says it was not consulted by the US over the war with Iran, which is having a massive global economic impact. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has responded to US President Donald Trump's swipe that the US ally is not doing enough to dispatch warships to secure crucial oil supply routes through the Strait of Hormuz. The war has engulfed much of the Middle East since the United States and Israel launched strikes against Iran on February 28. Australia says it is in close contact with Gulf states under attack from Iran, providing a surveillance aircraft to help defend the United Arab Emirates, where many Australians live. The US president included criticism of Australia as he vented his frustrations over lack of British support.
Australia too. Australia was not great. I was a little surprised by Australia.
But Albanese says there's no request been made to Australia that has not been agreed to.
President Trump is up to him to explain his comments. I make the point as well that Australia wasn't consulted before this action was undertaken.
Gold is trading at $4,460.45 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.79 to the pound, 19.72 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $107.94 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N3 South approaching the Linksfield Road exit. That's due to an accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between Linksfield Road and Modderfontein Road while traveling in Meriton. We still have got delays on the R59 North coming out of Klipprivier Drive due to an earlier accident.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Eastern Cape ANC leader Oscar Mabuyane will come head-to-head with former ally, Provincial Secretary Lulama Ngqaitobi, when more than 1,000 delegates take to the ballot this weekend.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 10 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. And thank you so much for your contributions on the 702 open line. Thank you for showing gratitude for those small and big things in your life. There's a reason we do Gratitude Friday. There's so many things going wrong in the world, and sometimes we forget that we were blessed enough to have food on our table last night. We're blessed enough to have some money for petrol. And maybe you're facing a challenge of unemployment, but you're blessed enough to have a roof over your head, to have a family that cares for you. And those things are important. And I'm glad that every Friday we're able to dedicate some time to reflect on what we are grateful for. So thank you for always contacting us to share your stories with us. It's time now for our Across the Desk feature.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
So on our Across the Desk feature this morning, I'm really excited to be hosting set designers. And I'm excited because I've worked in a set myself, and I've often wondered, how do they do this thing? Like, what's the creative process? And I'm particularly looking forward to finding out more about their work. Because when we go watch a play or we sit at home for watch that favorite TV drama, or maybe we go to the movies, we always focus on the actors and the story. But we don't always think about the space that they're in, that living room that looks like a real family living room, or that stage that suddenly turns into a school or a hospital or a whole street. The couches, the tables, you name it. All of these details help tell the story without saying a word. And that's why I said earlier, these are like silent actors, if you will. So I'm really looking forward to finding out more about their work. And if you're in the same industry yourself, I'd like you to give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note to share your experience with us. And if you've got questions you've always wanted to ask set designers, or maybe you want to get into the industry and you want to know, what do I study? What do I focus on? Call us. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. You can send your WhatsApps on 072-702-1702. In studio with me this morning, we've got Sam Dell, who is a set designer and art director at the Set Workshop. Sam, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. We also have Nomonde Maskasana, who is a SAFTA-nominated creative director and production designer at Moodboard Productions. Nomonde, thank you for making time as well. Good morning.
I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. And we also have Divette May, a set designer at the JDM Co. Divette, thank you for making time as well. Good morning. So you guys are not used to being on the forefront, ne? I'm sure this is a bit awkward for you guys.
Absolutely. We were very nervous.
You create these spaces for the people to work in them. Let's start in the beginning with you, maybe Sam. Did you always know what set design is all about when you were young growing up? How did you get into it?
No, not really. I studied fine art.
Yeah.
And then kind of fell into the industry. I started working in commercials, actually as the receptionist answering the phone. And then, the directors of the company decided that I would probably be better somewhere else in the company. And
were you sharing ideas with them? And stuff?
Definitely. And then started doing all their research and putting together their presentations and stuff like that.
Okay, fascinating.
So that's kind of how I started.
How about you, Nomanda?
Well, funny story is I've always loved performance. Yeah. So I started out at AVDA as an actor. Like literally, I thought this is it. So the nice thing is they introduced us to different disciplines. Then I was like, what is this production design? And then I signed up for it. I didn't know that films were curated. I literally thought things were there. You know what I mean? Yes. It's natural. They walked into somebody's house and it looked as is. So I was intrigued and, I was like, I'm doing this. And funny enough, it loved me too. And I left performance and I went straight into it. Wow. So, yeah.
Okay, Divette?
Yeah, I actually wanted to go and do computer programming and science and all of that.
Yeah.
And my mom said, no, don't you want to go and see the Pretoria Technicon that course at the time called Theatre Technology. And so I had to go and look and, you could paint and, run around and do some lacquer sculpting and all of that. And only in my third year of that, I actually realized, wait a minute, I can design what we do here. And then from there, started looking for internship.
Yeah.
To try and start it, and from there it started.
That's fascinating. Okay, so let's maybe for some listeners that may be lost and don't understand what set design or production design is, how do you define it, Sam? So because as you said, Nomonde, we think, when I'm watching a movie or I'm watching a telenovela, we're thinking that's like a real house. Like I honestly always thought so until one day I went on set and I see this big studio which has like, that's the Morocco house, or that's that office, and you're like, but it actually looks like a real thing. So how does the process begin? Like, how do you tell that story? Do you work with the director or do you conceptualize it yourself?
So, yes, you work with the director, and then you also have to work with the producers because there's always obviously a budget that's involved in the scenario.
Do you need to know what the story is about, the script?
You absolutely need to know what the story is about, who the characters are, and who they need to become within the story. So, and you relate those characters to the things that they would have. So, someone would have a different couch because they're a different kind of person to someone else. Or they'd have a different style of house, or they'd have a different way of interpreting the things around them. So you need to think about all of these things and how they're going to position your character to become more believable.
I see. My mom once, I did a show, it was on SABC1 recently, paid last year, called The Health Club, and it was like in a normal studio show, and my mom used to say, that dining room looks so nice. Because she didn't know that was in the little studio and then it's a set. She literally thought that, that's like it's a dining room where people sit and talk. And I thought, that's so interesting because that brings really your work alive, because somebody at home sits and believes that, that's like really a cool space that people are just having a conversation in. So do you guys, Nomonde, then read the script, or you read just mainly the storyline and what the story is about? And also, what about, like, what do you call them, props? How important are those then in the work that you do?
Ooh, they're very important. So, as Sam said, we are super involved in the scripts. We break it down. We speak to because we're there to flesh out the director's vision as well.
Yeah.
And then the producers, hone us in with the budget. But the props are important. What I like to say is when you're watching a movie, you should be able to switch off the sound. And then you know the characters, see who they are, where they come from. We're visual storytellers. So that's the best way to put it to it. And with the props, they also describe the character. Like, our thing is attention to detail. We have to, the bag that they carry says that they're rich, or, where they come from, or it's big, they beg, steal, and borrow, but it's interesting to put these characters together, because that's what we do. Literally switch off the sound, and that's the whole world.
It must, you must be able to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And David, what do you, perhaps let me ask what you enjoy the most? Do you work for like these drama, telenovela, creating those sets, or is it more television shows?
For me, it's mostly television.
Okay.
First and foremost, television, and if I even have to categorize it more, it would be multi-camera event set design is what I'm more specialized in. Although we spoke earlier also is that we basically dabble in everything.
Okay.
There's nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
Nothing is something that we won't do. We're always up for anything.
Yeah.
So my preference is that I know drama and all of that.
Yeah.
We've all done a little bit of everything. But
Okay, so I could come to you and say, I've got this drama, this telenovela, and I can also come and say, oh, there's this health talk show.
100%.
And I need, this is the kind of set that I need.
And going back, to the, it's all about what the message is of the project at the end of the day. It's not so much, and within our technical limits, and with technical limits, I mean budget. So within budget and with what we can do and with the time we have is to get that message across.
Yeah. Do production companies keen to spend a lot of money on set design?
Or is
that like the one department that gets like a tiny budget?
It depends on the production. I mean, I think if it's primarily a set-based thing, they do need to spend a lot more money.
Yeah.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, and it's not cheap. I mean, you're looking at probably 4,500 rand a square meter minimum.
Yeah.
In terms of creating a set, that's kind of how we would quote it out.
It's almost as expensive as building an actual house.
I mean, the last set we did for Etembeni was 980 square meters of set, of studio set, and I don't know if I should mention numbers, but we were looking around the 3 million rand mark to build that whole entire set.
So it's like I'm building an entire house.
It was we built an entire shopping center inside a studio.
That narrows the point on what a responsibility the job is. Is that if you mess that up, it has repercussions in all the departments.
Okay. So Nomonde, then what happens when you don't need that house anymore? So Clement, who was a character here, leaves. Like, I'm trying to understand, is it better to keep the set as is for years so that you don't move the characters too much, because then you have to spend more money than you're building other sets? Or is it easy to just break this thing up because we want a new set because the show is evolving? Clement has moved to a new house. He's no longer in the township, quote unquote, he's now in the suburbs. Therefore, we need to put him in a house like that. How, when you work with production companies, is it more long-term, the set you have, or it normally sometimes changes with characters?
I will say it does change. The main thing that guides us is story. I also just want to clarify that it's either we shoot in location, which is different, and it's actual houses, so it's easy to dispose of. And if you're in studio, that's when you have to be smart, especially in terms of the budget. We have to repurpose the same couch that you saw for Karabo Moroka, and now it's Zinzi's. We have to reupholster and become creative about everything. So they always encourage repurposing. And it also makes sense in studio, you know. If the storyline is finished for this new character, then we repurpose the sets.
Yeah. One thing that surprised me, I had an opportunity to be on The River, the telenovela. Thank God I was really playing myself, which made it easier because I'm not an actor. But I remember we shot a scene in the lounge and like Lindiwe's house, Lindiwe Dikana, the character. And next door, like in that house, like just by the kitchen, then it's the bar. But every time I've ever watched like The River, I've always thought that is the house and then the bar is somewhere else.
Absolutely.
And I was like, wait, they said we're going to shoot at the bar. I thought we were going to get into the car and go somewhere else to shoot. And there's like, no, there it is. You're just walking there 10 seconds and it's just there. It's so interesting what you're able to do with space. I mean, what you're able to create within such a small space in a small space. We're going to continue this conversation after the break. I see your questions coming through as well on the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. What do you understand about set designs? And if you've got questions for the set designers yourself, please 011-883-0702. That's where you can give us a call or send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. It's 22 after 10.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings.
8 to midnight.
Andy Mashaile, security strategist. As things stand, Commissioner Masemola has not yet been charged for any offense.
You got it right. What is contained in the charge sheet in terms of criminal charges, if there are criminal charges, will glue our ear onto the doors of the courtroom. We might be picking up things like criminal charges that would be put against him. But for now, he is not directly involved.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Switching was so quick and easy. I'm happy with the premium that I'm paying now.
Outsurance business insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a guaranteed premium for 12 months even if you claim? For electrical, tradesman services, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Why worry about getting lost when you can discover so much more? Don't settle for a pavement 4x4. Get the Tank 300 from only $7,399 per month with off-road navigation that helps you stay on track. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
There's always One Oak. The One Oak who's got it all. Proper chair, proper braai, backup light, extra wood, cooler that actually keeps ice iced. Now's your chance to be that oak. Join us this Easter for Chamberlain's superb Easter saving from 19 March to 6 April. Grab the 10-coat camping chair for just 449 Rand and gear up properly for a lekker long weekend. Plus, enjoy 10% off paint mixing on Chamber Value and Finest 1903 paints. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
Get ready for bigger and better savings at Dis-Chem. We're bringing you more value and more reasons to shop. Swipe your Better Rewards card for 2+1 free on Gold Omega-3 Salmon Oil 90 capsules at 161 Rand 99 each. And get 2+1 free on A. Vogel Multiforce Alkaline Powder, 225 grams assorted at 269 Rand 99 each. Look out for the Better Rewards icon to shop Better Rewards brands. Offers valid until 12 April. Only at Dis-Chem. Better health starts here.
When you're running a small business, you need someone who speaks your language, who understands when you talk innovation, growth, scaling. Someone like MTN Business and 702. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards, from the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between. We want to talk about you and your business. Go to primemediaplus.com to enter your business or nominate one you know. Because once we start talking about where you are now, you'll be well on your way to reaching your next. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. T's, C's and more on primemediaplus.com.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
26 minutes after 10 o'clock, we are finding out more about the work of set designers this morning on our Across the Desk feature. We've got Sam, we've got Nomonde and Devet, who are set designers, and I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions as well. You can send us your WhatsApp voice notes, give us a call as well. Let's start with your voice notes.
Hi, Madimecha, Stephen here, Alberton. I just want to know, with the invent of AI, is there a threat to this industry? Somebody was telling me that you could be sitting on 20-liter empty buckets of paint, and with AR graphics, you can create a posh lounge or sitting room. And the like. So everything can be now generated digitally with the capability of AR. Is that a threat? And are your guests concerned about their livelihood and their jobs going forward in the future with regards to that?
Yeah, is it of great concern to you guys?
It's a contentious issue. Some people are scared, and I'm not supposed to swear, but they are scared of it. I personally think it's like the advent of Photoshop to the original pen and Koki graphic design people. It's my personal thought that it's something to embrace and see how you can put it into your workflow and get it into your production line. Like all things, it might just add to your productivity and make whatever you do better. I don't know if it's going to be anywhere near replacing me as a person, because I have feelings and I feel things and design accordingly, which I think AI, it's not there, maybe not yet. I don't think it's a fear, or it's certainly a threat, but it's something to keep in mind and also sort of teach yourself how to use it and understanding it before you start hating on it and then completely miss the boat.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a pivot. It's a pivot in the industry, and I think it really is it's a great tool. I think environmentally it's devastating at this point, and one hopes that they're going to develop that technology so that it's not so environmentally damaging. But it certainly is a time saver, and it certainly does help in terms of specifically putting together boards or trying to prove an idea to a client. It's so much easier to jump on Midjourney and prompt exactly what you're looking for, as opposed to trying to find reference pictures and try and go, this is kind of what we're thinking, but like with a bit of this and then a bit of that, you know what I mean? Whereas you can compile one actual
it's
incredibly true image of what
totally agree.
What you're looking to portray.
Yeah, the fear of being replaced is misplaced.
I don't think we should be scared at all. As you said, we need to embrace the process. The human touch we can never replace. Even the cultural nuances we can never replace.
Absolutely.
Like, let's embrace the technology and and it helps actually with references. I struggle sometimes to find like exactly what's in my head, but then with AI, you just prompt it and then it pops it out. And it just helps.
This might not be popular opinions.
Yeah, but I mean, it requires a lot of learning. It's not like on Instagram, on Instagram makes everything look so easy. It's like it just pops this thing out, but it's not that. There's processes involved. And there's a lot of processes involved. You still need to have human interaction. Yes, you're learning new programs, you're learning new skills, but I don't think it's going to obliterate the entire industry.
I did enjoy a line I saw the other day where somebody said, you need to tell AI exactly what you need from it. Have you ever met a client that knows exactly what they want?
Especially with your guys and sets.
Absolutely.
I mean, you do back and forths about, okay, let's refine it this way. Yeah, it's 10:30. Let's get the latest in eyewitness news headlines. Then I'll put some of your questions that have come through to my guests after the headlines. Fiso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. The Fuel Retailers Association says it's received reports of 167 of the country's 5,000 petrol stations running dry. CEO Regis Sibia says they are monitoring the association daily and assures the public that there is no fuel shortage crisis. He says the current diesel shortage is as a result of the 30% spike in demand amid reports of service stations running out of diesel. The ANC Selective Conference in Limpopo will proceed this weekend after the High Court dismissed an urgent application to interdict the gathering. A disgruntled branch member had approached the court to stop the conference from sitting due to concerns about the legitimacy of a digital device used to verify delegates. And Zulu monarch King Misuzulu Zwelithini has lobbied traditional leaders to rally behind the call for government to hand over the Ingonyama Trust Board to the Zulu Kingdom. The monarch wants the trust under his full control as it administers almost 3 million hectares of land in KZN. Last week, the board was dissolved by the Land Reform and Rural Development Ministry. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling on the N3 South, we've got heavy traffic volumes. This is due to that earlier accident on the opposite side of the road, so please be on the lookout. There are delays between the Vincent Magwenya Road and Linksfield Road. There's also queuing traffic on the N12 West between Edenville Road and the Giluli's interchange. If you're traveling out in the Selby area, we've got an accident near Boyson's Road. Delays coming out of Elof Street. There's also queuing traffic in Amalgam along the M2 West between the Crown interchange and Main Reef Road. I'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
How do we stop our National Police Commissioner from becoming an accused? So there could be the suggestion that the top police officer in the country doesn't get paid enough. How do we resolve this? I've said before, we need a full reset of the police. They've done that before. Go look at the case of Georgia. Go look at the case of Singapore. What has been done there to overhaul the police entirely. We just can't keep having this situation where every police commissioner somehow lands up either as an accused or being dismissed from their job before the term ends.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
This Sunday, something big is going down. The DP World Lions are in the one-day cup final at DP World Wanderers Stadium. The match starts at 10 a.m., so it's the perfect day out with friends or family, and tickets are only 50 Rand. Look forward to big hits, big moments, live music, great food, ice-cold drinks, and your shot at 50,000 Rand with one-handed catch. So round up your crew, fill the stadium, and back the pride. Sunday, 29th of March, 10 a.m., DP World Wanderers Stadium. Hashtag the pride of Josie.
Okay, truck 7 at 0 warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
I only went for gift wrap, that's all I needed, I swear. Just tape and birthday wrapping for a little teddy bear. Now there's a pink flamingo perched right by the door. And somehow 5 new books to read, thanks to the crazy store. That's crazy, crazy, that's the crazy store. Went in for one small thing, came out with so much more.
The crazy store. Hey, you never know what you might find.
Why argue with your teenage know-it-all when you can feel more in control? Get the Haval H6 from only $62.99 per month with intelligent voice command technology that does not backchat. Perfect. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Do you suffer from heartburn and hyperacidity? To relieve heartburn for the whole day and night with one tablet, a potent once-a-day treatment which was previously prescription only is now available over the counter. Ask your pharmacist for an over-the-counter, long-lasting heartburn treatment. Brought to you by Sandoz.
When you're running a small business, you need someone who speaks your language, who understands when you talk innovation, growth, scaling. Someone like MTN Business and 702. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards, from the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between. We want to talk about you and your business. Go to primemediaplus.com to enter your business or nominate one you know. Because once we start talking about where you are now, you'll be well on your way to reaching your next. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. T's, C's and more on primemediaplus.com.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
24 minutes before 11 o'clock. We are hosting set designers on our Across the Desk feature this morning. It's so fascinating learning more about the work that they do. I've got a few questions coming from our listeners. We'll go to some WhatsApps in a moment. But before I even get there, Sam, I'm interested in the differences for designing for stage and designing for screen. Like, what do you think about differently in each environment? Because at least with screen, the opportunities to fix up here and there. But if it's a theatre production, if it goes down, it goes down. There's not much you can do.
No, there's not much you can do. And it's quite terrifying, actually, theatre. When, that curtain call comes and they're counting down, like 3, 2, 1. Once that curtain is up, you do not have time to finesse anything. It goes down as it goes down, which to me is absolutely terrifying. I really do prefer having take 1, take 2, take 3, and having the time to actually craft something specific, as opposed to, obviously in theatre you rehearse and you rehearse and you rehearse until there's nothing that's left to chance. But anything could happen. You know what I mean? That curtain goes up. You can't then suddenly run and fix the wardrobe or adjust the light or do anything. It is what it is, and that's it's a totally different genre.
Yeah.
It's what is nice about it is that you can do a lot more in terms of staging and lighting and those kind of things. So you can go quite abstract in terms of how you design things. Whereas with productions and movies, it's always it's mostly real stuff, especially soapies. It's a lounge, it's a dining room, it's a shop, it's a spaza, it's a, you know what I mean? So that in terms of theatre, you can actually get a lot more creative in terms of what you can do.
Gotcha.
Maybe I could just add to that is that for theatre, you design for 2 eyes with no zoom function. Where for TV, it's for 1 eye with zoom function. So so it is technically a little bit different, but I'd like to explain it like that.
So how much time do you guys get before you can produce the set?
Never enough.
Never, ever.
It is never enough.
Never.
But
sometimes you build a mall in a month.
In less than a month.
Yeah.
Jeez, how many team members then do you need? So if someone comes now and says, okay, we need the set and we're shooting in 2 weeks, that means you're not going to sleep for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and it's not just us. There's a lot of people around us.
Yeah.
There's all our I can call them maybe deputies, workshop foremen, team leaders, lots of craftsmen.
Yeah.
It is usually a lot of people involved with it, and the less the time, the more the people, or the later the nights. There's always sort of a trade-off.
How many times do you do the back and forth with the production company that says this is what we're looking for? Have you ever, Nomonde, for instance, had a production company that was very clear and you guys designed the set and they were like, oh, that's it, we take it? Or it's always
never.
Oh my God,
it never happens. I feel like throughout the production, you have that back and forth. You have to, they also like being involved, and it also narrows down what you do as well. But it's always nice as well when you get ones that do trust your vision and just let you play. But it's always a back and forth, always, until the end.
What happens when you disagree, Sam? You're like, I don't think that's going to work for a show like this.
I don't think in a creative scenario you ever really disagree.
Yeah,
I mean,
or
you've got
agree for that matter.
or agree for that matter. But I mean, you've got so many different people who have so many different opinions, and then there's narrative
put it
that
all
applies
together.
to it, and you need to work within that group and reach. I think compromise is probably the best word.
And
Where you
usually
go,
the one with
okay,
the-
well, I would love to do this, but and then the producer goes, we can't afford that.
That's
You
all
know what I
right.
mean? And then the director will go, I'd really also love to do that. And then you reach a compromise, and you have to work out how to do what you want to do within these constraints. And I think it's always about compromise.
Yeah. Here's some more WhatsApp voice notes that have come on 072 702 and 702.
Hi, Clement. Thank you so much for the show. So I work in the industry, right? And I've been to so many sets before. The best one for me was the river set because I was just blown away by how you would literally go into a mukuku and it would look proper, like a proper mukuku, even if it's like a mukuku based in Remseg, but then it was proper, it was good. And then Deep City was one of the best as well because it was actually built from scratch, I think. So the mukukus and everything else seemed real. So big up to the people that actually do this. It might seem like it's an easy job, but it's actually not. So big up to them. They must keep on doing the great job. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good morning, Clement. It's Aluta from Centurion. I would just like to know with the funeral sets where they are shooting for funerals, and what's really happening there? Do they really go to like the real cemeteries, and what's happening there?
Morning, Clement, and your guest there. What a nice topic. I just wanted to ask, if for outside shots, they use houses, office building, like in Generation, they were using that building there in Randburg. Sometimes they use nice houses in the suburbs or estates. Do you pay the owners of this building, or do you just ask to use the outside of the building? Freddie from Captain Park.
Thank you, Freddie. You must ask production company because I know what. Sometimes it's an establishing shot right, of this big house, and then suddenly you see inside the house, but that's not
It's
the inside of
studio.
that house.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
now what you guys have created.
That's our
to
magic.
match- That's the magic to match the house that was established there. But there was a question there, Nomonde, about like funeral scenes. Like, do you go to actual, cemeteries? How does it work?
Well, just a disclaimer, nothing is real. Well, sometimes we do go to the cemeteries depending on the permission. But then if we're really pressed for time, because sometimes the schedule doesn't allow, we'll just use the backyard or an open field, create our own tombstones, dig our own graves. And when you see it on screen, it's a real cemetery.
Yeah.
So nothing is real.
So, that's interesting. So, and it's like dressing it up and like, for instance, even with tombstone, for instance, like what, because sometimes they look so real. Like I used to think they went to someone else's tombstone.
Polystyrene and paint.
Yes. Polystyrene, aging it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's wood, So we actually have a lot of fun when we create these things to try and make it real.
Okay.
And on organic, like the organic history. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I saw recently, I went to visit a certain studio and I saw they were using a green screen. So there was this big screen and you would stand there as an actor or a presenter and then they somehow build like a set on the screen. So it's not like, I don't know if you guys have seen that. What do you think of that? Do you do that as well, or do you?
Yeah, we do quite a lot of green screen stuff, and then
so you can design for green screen.
You can so you can design. There's various 3D render programs that they use to design what goes behind that scene, and then they just obviously put it in post production.
Yeah, and it's an old technology that's
old.
Really evolved. Where it used to be static plates that they painted into real life.
Yeah, literally painted on glass.
Yeah,
that's where it started.
Yeah, absolutely. The stuff that they do now is fantastic, but the green screen, it kind of falls within our production designs job as well.
Yeah,
it might not be the actual rendering, but it would be still part of our design work.
Yeah, someone else is asking about what to do if we want to join the industry. I'm fascinated about this work. Please can you ask them, what do I need to study or what experience do I need to get into an industry like this? Any advice?
I mean, there's a lot of tertiary institutions that offer film design. There's, theatre technology. There's AFTA, which does production design. There's there's Open Window. So there's a lot of Varsity College. There's a lot of institutions that do offer film and production design. I think that the understanding is that what you're going to learn there is not a lot about what actually happens on the set.
Isn't that the same with every degree?
That is exactly the same with every degree. But I think the best way, obviously it's nice to get the theoretical background in terms of specifically knowledge, in terms of lensing, lighting, all those kind of things, because these are things that we use a lot. I mean, we design sets specifically for certain types of cameras.
It's not a thing. I don't think it excludes people from entering to have a degree or have studied something.
I mean, you did fine arts.
I did fine arts.
Fine arts, yeah.
And I mean, I've lectured at AFTA, and I mean, one of my students actually didn't have enough funding to continue his education, and he just started working in the industry, and he hasn't stopped.
You see,
and that's the thing.
You know, so
internships, getting the T job. Just to start and get a foot in. And
I mean, I was a receptionist. I answered the phone.
Your story is very interesting. But I do think it's important to go to school so you can diversify, because right now, the way the industry is going, it's
you need
really,
to have different
really
options.
important. Like for me, I'm also getting into events, which is quite interesting, you know. So
but the degree doesn't keep you out of it.
Yeah.
Yes,
you can
the
absolutely
informal
start
training.
low level, and you can within 20 years probably be the big shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to another WhatsApp voice note that's coming.
Hi, Clement. I would like to ask your guest there, if a person is cooking, are they really cooking there, or what's happening? And then sometimes you'll find that someone will be cutting onions and all that. So after cutting those onions, what do they do with those food? Those vegetables, what do they do with those vegetables and stuff? I want to find out. My kids here in Kempton Park.
Thank you, Maiketsi. So what happens?
It's dry ice. If you're in a real house, then you actually use the real stove. But if you're in studio and nothing is connected, or a random set, we use dry ice. So when you put dry ice in water,
dry ice.
If you put it in water, then it bubbles and then they steam. Then it feels like, or
Oh
even
my
somebody.
goodness.
I just saw a clip from, I think, Black Beauty. Somebody was carrying an urn that looked hot. Obviously, we can't fill it up with water, so it's just little water and dry ice, and then just to make it heavy and believable, and then they play with it, so it's easier for the actors.
Nothing is real.
Nothing is real.
Because I thought
Now you see us, now you don't.
Yeah, we are deceivers of
that's quite
great.
scary.
Magic.
Yeah, but that's so fascinating because we see that and we're like, oh yeah, I mean, it's you think the person is really like doing some serious cooking in the steam there. Okay, let's take a quick ad break. When we come back, we'll wrap up with some more questions.
Take a ride back to the greatest decades in music.
Because Saturdays on 702
Are all about timeless tunes.
Timeless Tunes at 10 a.m.
Kenny Maestri sets the stage with the greatest hits of the 80s
and 90s. At 2 p.m., Pushaza Sibia keeps the nostalgia flowing.
with more classics you can't help but sing along to.
Then at 5 p.m., Richard Mwambas
Celebrates the sounds of the continent.
with This Is Africa.
It's more than just music.
It's your Saturday wrapped in the sounds you love.
Only on 702.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
Big thinkers need epic spaces to think. That's why TEDx Johannesburg has partnered with WeWork South Africa as its official workplace partner for 2026. WeWork members get TEDx big ideas, bold conversations, and sneak peeks behind South Africa's most influential TEDx events. All your work at WeWork, Sandton, Rosebank, and Cape Town all year. You can do that. Be part of an epic work evolution. Sign up at WeWork all-access member. Visit wework.co.za today. Made for work, built for business.
The beeping machines, the hospital smells, the moments of fear. And all that remains is what matters most.
Dad's home!
Because recovery isn't about the procedure or the paperwork. It's about getting back to the people and places that matter to you. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the 2nd year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
Why get a workhorse that makes you do all the work when you can get so much more? Don't settle. Get the GWM P300 from only 5,672 per month with a 2.4-litre turbo diesel automatic that delivers on work, play and life. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
When it rains, it pours. Over 108 million rand was won last week Friday. And now another winner of over 4 million rand on Tuesday. You could be next. Step into the downpour and play Powerball Plus for the guaranteed 54 million rand jackpot this Friday. Don't miss out. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app or cell phone banking. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old and play responsibly. Ituba is a proud operator of the National Lottery.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now. Save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
702 and the Dis-Chem Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
Hi, John. Being in its 10th year and why it's now called the Blankets Plus campaign is because we did identify a few years ago the need for beanies and gloves. And I think it's valuable to be able to share some warmth with these people. Pavements get incredibly cold, so nobody asks to be on the street. Being aware that people are there to do our bit and keep them a bit warmer, I think is a wonderful way to care for our communities. And it seems like such a small thing, but it does make such an incredible difference.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community on 702. Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
7 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's continue as we wrap up our conversation with set designers this morning. It's been so fascinating learning about the work. It's really smoke and mirrors, hey? Nothing is real, people. When you see them have an apple there, question whether it's real or not. There are a few more questions that have come through. Me on the WhatsApp line says, Clement, please can you ask your guest if the actors are eating the food on TV, is that like real food that is on the table? How do you guys dress up the table? Is it like real bananas and stuff?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think if there's going to be actual consumption, if they're really eating food, then we definitely make sure that it's fresh, that it's kept sanitary and hygienic, and then they do actually eat it.
We don't want them sick at all.
No, we don't want to. We don't want to make people sick. Obviously, if there's 120 extras,
then we have to cheat it.
We do cheat that. We'll give them real food, but we'll. I know some people who even spray it with doom, so they don't eat it.
What do you mean?
Yes, you have to.
Otherwise, your budget is just gone.
It's going to be real catering.
Because sometimes on set you see, these people sitting on a table with this elaborate, premium breakfast, and you wonder, that must have cost a bit.
Yeah, that's art department.
Yeah, that's art department. So probably 80% fat.
Cooking.
Yeah.
So 80%
but for
of it is
studio,
fake.
you can actually freeze those muffins, and then there's food that you can eat. And then
the
there's
rest are
just
just
dressings.
for.
If you have like an elaborate English breakfast or a lunch or a dinner, sometimes you have to come up with those creative ways. And sometimes we do use prosthetics where we create that fake steak or fake muffins and cakes that we can play around with different colors. And then you can use them for like more than 10 years.
Yeah. Whew. Here's another WhatsApp voice note.
Morning, Clement. You know what's always funny is every time when you have a scene where everybody is ready for the day and they're going for the breakfast is set up, and then all of a sudden everybody leaves without even touching anything for breakfast. That one is always so funny because the breakfast table is so nicely, you see the orange juice, the fruits and everything, and everybody just gets up without even eating or just, I'm ready, I'm going, and whoosh, everybody's gone and leaving the table full of food. That one is a hammer for me.
That's actually funny because that's what happens. I've never thought of it that way. It's like, I'm not going to wake up and I leave that amazing breakfast there and I'm rushing because they always rush and then they'll grab that one pear or apple and then they've left all of that incredible food. Who made it?
The croissants. And it's
because it ain't apple. Real. Okay, so what would you guys say, and a question to all of you, what is the hardest thing about the job and what is the most difficult thing about the job? So what do you love about this job, but what do you also not like about this work?
Well, certainly for me, the most thing that I dislike the most is the thing I'm doing it because it's difficult. I think it is hard to do. It's difficult to stay within parameters of budget and concept and time and all of that. And finally, at the end of it, getting through this whole struggle to actually have it up and running and on camera is very satisfying, but simultaneously very stressful. So it's very much a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
And I do both quite hard,
Yeah. And for you, what do you like the most about the work and what do you not like most about the work?
I love getting to create worlds. Every day I can create it like a different world or a different scenario, and you're never in the same place for very long, and you get to use your imagination. You get to create all the time, which is amazing. I mean, I think we're very privileged to be in the industry that we are in, and we do love it. What I don't enjoy a lot of the time is just the amount of pressure, and then kind of the inability of people to understand the actual process. They think, as you all do, that it just was there. It just happens, but it doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't, and it is the challenge that we love. I mean, I think that adrenaline of like, okay, you know, you get this phone call and someone says, "Can you do this?" And you're like, "Yeah, sure." And then you're like, put the phone down. You're like, "Oh, damn." And I think we love the exhilaration.
Yeah. And for you, Nomanda?
Well, I echo your sentiments because literally the creativity is the fun part. But I am quite sad that like the government, I would say, doesn't take us seriously. And we contribute so much in the economy and people don't really realize, speaking to what you just said, you know, if we can just pay attention to that, because even our budgets are getting cut, you know, our salaries. I don't know if I should be saying this, but if we can just, you know, because this is our life, like our livelihoods, we do so much, we spend so much time, you know, to create worlds that people escape from, you know, because when you come home from work and you're tired and you've been in corporates, when you watch that TV, we relieve your, you know, your stress, your life, we transport you to different worlds, which is quite exciting, you know, so
And there must be an appreciation of that effort.
Absolutely.
There should be.
There should be.
I mean, there's people always who say that this is not brain surgery, we're not saving lives here. And I'm like, you know what? There are so many people who come, we actually do. We do really important work. It's that escapism that people need.
Even psychology, like people take a lot of advice from these, or sometimes they see themselves in the characters, you know, and, you know, it informs their choices, you know.
It's so relatable. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Well, we appreciate the work you guys do. That's why we've invited you here to find out more about this work. It's so fascinating. I think it's been so insightful, and we now understand more about these set designs and production designs. So thank you for making time for us, and all the best.
The Vodacom United Rugby Championship is one of the hottest tournaments on the planet. Hollywood Bets adds spice with an epic competition in which 400,000 Rand in cash, prizes and betting vouchers must be won. Prizes include a Vodacom URC VIP experience and a glamorous Table Mountain adventure. To enter, simply bet 30 Rand or more on any Vodacom URC fixture between 23 January and 16 May.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Dreaming of your next getaway? Whether it's a sun-soaked beach escape, an adventure-packed tour, or a luxury cruise, Flight Centre is your center for travel. We make travel easy, affordable, and stress-free. Plus, you can enjoy exclusive traveler perks with our frequent Flighty Rewards program. Flight Centre's got you covered. Visit your nearest Flight Centre store or online at flightcentre.co.za. Flight Centre, your center for travel.
When you train for results, you don't quit halfway. Earn up to 7.35% interest with a Nedbank Just Invest account. Access your money within 24 hours. Keep your money agile. Get money fit with Nedbank. See money differently. Nedbank. For more information, visit nedbank.co.za. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Why settle for being Mr. Humble when you can be called Grootman? Don't settle. Get the GWM P500 from only $8,499 per month with a commanding presence built to dominate any terrain. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
When you're running a small business, you need someone who speaks your language, who understands when you talk innovation, growth, scaling. Someone like MTN Business and 702. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards, from the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between. We want to talk about you and your business. Go to primemediaplus.com to enter your business or nominate one you know. Because once we start talking about where you are now, you'll be well on your way to reaching your next. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. T's, C's and more on primemediaplus.com.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The Fuel Retailers Association says it's received reports of 167 of the country's 5,000 petrol stations running dry. CEO Regis Bia says they are monitoring the association daily and assures the public that there is no fuel shortage crisis in the country. He says the current diesel shortage is as a result of the 30% spike in demand, but Bia says that the shortage is due to delays in delivery and not a drop in fuel stocks.
There's just so many trucks that can deliver the product. So if the demand spikes, that then causes delays in the product delivered in some of the sites.
Sibia also says that the association has halted a price increase by Total franchises ahead of the 1st of April.
Total that had sent immediate instructions to their dealer network that they will be now invoicing them at 8 Rand more to try and cover their cost on diesel. We wrote a letter to the DG of the department, and as we speak now, that has stopped.
Eastern Cape ANC leader Oscar Mabuyane will come head-to-head with former ally Provincial Secretary Lulama Ngcukaitobi when more than 1,000 delegates take to the ballot this weekend. Mabuyane is running for a third term as the party's leader in what is one of the ANC's last strongholds, but the conference has not been without drama. The High Court granted an interdict halting it from proceedings over branch disputes, but the ANC has since appealed the ruling. Babalondenze takes a look.
Oscar Mabuyane was elected ANC Provincial Secretary in 2009 before taking over as Provincial Chairperson in 2017. In 2017, Mabuyane won in a landslide at the same conference venue in East London that became famously known as the Festival of Chairs after brawling delegates assaulted each other with chairs. Mabuyane was re-elected in 2022 with Lulama Ngcukaitobi elected Provincial Secretary. The two will now contest the same position, but with Mabuyane considered the leading contender. Ngcukaitobi's slate includes Education MEC Fundile Gade for Deputy Provincial Chairperson, with former Nelson Mandela Bay Regional Secretary Luolo Ngakula contesting for provincial secretary. Mabuya and his team includes his current deputy finance MEC Mlungisi Mvogo, who is vying to retain his post, while deputy secretary Helen Sauce August is hoping for a promotion to provincial secretary. Baba Londenza, Eyewitness News, Kukompo.
In Limpopo, the ANC Selective Conference in the province will proceed this weekend after the High Court dismissed an urgent application to interdict the gathering. A disgruntled branch member had approached the courts to stop the conference from sitting due to concerns about the legitimacy of a digital device used to verify delegates. Limpopo Premier Popi Ramutuba is tipped to be elected as the province or the party's provincial chairperson at the conference. Zulu monarch King Mr. Zulukazi Welithini has lobbied traditional leaders to rally behind the call for government to hand over the Ingonyama Trust Board to the Zulu Kingdom. The monarch wants the trust under his full control as it administers almost 3 million hectares of land in KZN. Last week, the board was dissolved by the Land Reform and Rural Development Ministry, but yesterday, the Pietermaritzburg High Court overturned that decision. The king spoke at the opening of the House of Traditional Leaders in Ulundi.
You know the challenges that we face when it comes to the Ingonyama Trust Board, but we are not going to stop fighting because we want the board to be removed from Pretoria and be brought here so that we can run it ourselves.
Gold is trading at $4,460.45 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.79 to the pound, 19.72 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $107.94 a barrel.
And in the traffic in Midrand, we've got delays on the N1 South. That's as you approach New Road. That's due to an accident. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North. This is between the Geldenes interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to roadworks.
A partly cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with showers and thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, the Fuel Retailers Association says it's received reports of 167 of the country's 5,000 petrol stations running dry.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
8 minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. Time for our relationship feature.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk
on 702.
On our relationship feature this morning, we're discussing navigating sexuality within relationships. And of course, for people who are in this situation, this can be deeply complex, especially when one partner begins to question their sexuality. And while it's completely normal for people to explore and reassess their sexuality over time, it can also feel just particularly, it can feel unhappy for you, disorientating as well. For those who have long identified, for instance, as heterosexual or gay or lesbian, right? For instance, someone could be committed in a heterosexual relationship and then they suddenly find themselves feeling attracted to the same sex, or a person in a same-sex relationship begins experiencing attraction outside of what they've always known. And these experiences can bring about confusion, and understandably so. They bring about fear, even guilt, not just for the person who's exploring their identity, but also for their partner. Because also for a partner on the receiving end, if your own husband or your own wife tells you that they are now attracted to someone of a similar sex to them, that can be devastating to you because that's not how you've known your partner to be. Or maybe you've been in a same-sex relationship and suddenly your own partner says, well, I'm attracted to the opposite sex. And that's an attraction I've been feeling. So when you're on the receiving end, how do you deal with something like that? A lot of the people who share experiences say that kind of scenario triggers feelings of insecurity. Because you're asking yourself, is it me? Is it because I'm not enough? Is this the end of our relationship? But experts are saying that sexuality, in fact, can be fluid like that. Sexuality exists on a spectrum, and discovering new aspects of oneself doesn't automatically say that you must look at the relationship as it being over. So I would like you to share your own experiences with us if this is something you've navigated before. How have you as a couple navigated this delicate space? Have you ever been told by your lover, your partner, that they are now attracted to the opposite sex? If you were in, of course, a same-sex relationship, or maybe you were in a heterosexual relationship and your partner now told you, well, I'm attracted to now the same sex. And how did you navigate that? Did it spell the end of the relationship, or did you find ways to still accommodate the person and what their interests are and what you have built with them? You can call us on 011-883-0702 or send a WhatsApp on 072-702-1702. Nikki Brivik is a sexual wellness coach who's guiding us through this conversation. Nikki, great to chat to you again. Good morning.
Hi, Clement. Thanks again for having me.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky conversation we're having today, but it is really something that happens a lot in relationships. And maybe let me start with just your own experience as a sexual wellness coach. You speak to a lot of couples. How common is it for people to question their sexuality while they're in a committed relationship?
Well, I think the reality is that sexuality evolves over time. You know, sexuality is not always fixed or fully understood from the beginning. For many people, especially those raised in more traditional environments, there may be years of suppression and confusion, or simply a lack of language to describe what they feel. So sometimes what appears as a sudden realization is often something that's been quietly present for a long time, but that has been just suppressed or not having the right language. So it's a conversation ultimately about truth and identity and how relationships respond to change. So I think when someone realizes that they're gay or bisexual or questioning in a relationship, it can feel like a collision between the internal truth and your external commitment. And I think it's important to understand that this is really about rejecting a partner in favor of someone better. It's about an alignment with yourself. And it's a very difficult topic because for the partner on the receiving end, the emotional impact can be so profound. It can feel like rejection and betrayal, or even that the entire relationship was built on a lie. And this is, I think, where reframing becomes essential, because the relationship was not necessarily a lie. It was real within the awareness of both people that they had at that time.
Yes.
And yes, love can be genuine even if understanding evolves. And I think that's the thing. We must realize sexuality constantly evolves. And for some, it's, different orientations. But for some, it's just, new fantasies or something new exciting. So obviously some people face a more difficult decision that could actually end with the breakup of a marriage, which is obviously more difficult than maybe like a fantasy that you want to explore. But these are it's just showing that we are human and we grow and we evolve and we change.
How important is communication even before you step into that relationship or that marriage, Nikki? Because just to give an example, we often see these scenarios where someone, and let's use an example of a guy who knows that they are gay, but they get into a relationship with this woman because, for whatever reason, whether it's because he has been pressured at home, maybe it's the church, maybe he himself hasn't accepted themselves, and they enter into this relationship with this woman, and they get married, and then there's kids, and then 5 years down the line or 3 years, they say, oh, by the way, I'm gay. And the poor woman who is also invested in this then feels betrayed, because she feels like, as you said earlier, this relationship was built on a lie. You knew exactly what you were interested in. You never communicated that to me. You didn't give me an option to say no or yes, this is what I want to do. So I'm trying to figure out how important then is communication, because I would imagine if we are so frank and transparent with each other, then that allows the next person to decide whether they want to do this or not. Otherwise, they are going to feel betrayed when you leave them and you say, oh, this is who I am, when you've known all along.
Correct. So I think, what you are talking about is a slightly different situation. That is a situation where the person knows who they are, but they are choosing to suppress it, and they are getting involved in a relationship under, it's not honest. They are not communicating their truth, their authentic self. So I think there is dishonesty, and that's a very different thing than exploring your sexuality and not understanding it. So I think when you enter into a relationship, if you know you're gay and you're entering into a heterosexual relationship and you don't discuss it with your partner, you don't name it, obviously you're not communicating. Obviously, then that is based on a lie. And that is dishonest. And a real relationship requires honesty and communication and trust. So none of those are present in the instance you have described. So I think that's something you've got to be very careful if you are going into that relationship knowing your truth and you're still going against it because you think you can suppress it. I think that's very unfair.
What if you don't know your truth? So what if maybe you have sensed that you are a little different, but you don't know, you don't even have the language for it.
Correct. Now that is a very different conversation, because that is what we were talking about, this expansion of your sexuality, this suddenly realizing who you might be, who you have evolved to be. So I think, that is the tension between authenticity and responsibility. How authentic are you? How much you want to live authentically, so you can't suppress who you are, and you've now discovered this part of yourself. How do you bring this into your relationship? How do you share this with your partner? And I think that's where we come back to communication and honesty and kindness and compassion. And it's about how you have that conversation, because it's very hard to suppress your truth once you know it. But it's how you share it and how you decide to go forward. I'm not saying that it won't be hurtful, but those are the key things that we have to be concerned about, is living authentically, but not doing it in a way that is nasty and unkind and untrue, and debasing what you have built.
Yeah, and I want us to also reflect on the other side of this, because there are also instances where you will have someone who engages in, a gay same-sex relationship, whether they're lesbian or they're gay. They're in this relationship, and then one day they realize, actually, I know I've been with you as a guy, but now I want to be with a woman, even though I've never been with one, or I haven't been with one in a long time. I mean, that also becomes, because then in that case, this person didn't get into the relationship to one day want to walk out, as they thought this is it for them. But now suddenly they feel, actually, I want to be with that woman and have kids with them. Is that something that you also see as well? This adverse of, because I think a lot of cases we often hear about, we know about, we read about are more, people who realize while they're in heterosexual relationships that, oh, I'm gay. This is what I've picked up about myself. And it's not often that you hear people then who are in same-sex relationships who then wake up one day, even though those cases do exist, who've left, whether they're lying to their same-sex partners or not, but they've decided, I'm going to be with the opposite sex.
Yeah, so I must say, I don't often see that. In fact, I've never seen that. I think the reality is that, people who are in the LGBTQ plus one community, they have had to explore their sexuality, and it's not easy. It's not easy not being part of the norm, in inverted commas. So when you have had to kind of take that route, it's usually because that is your truth. It's a lot easier to kind of go the heterosexual route and then realize, actually, this isn't for me. So it doesn't, I personally haven't really seen that often. I've seen people who have maybe dabbled in a bit of bisexuality, but that was more of an experimental stage, but not really a complete change. I think it normally happens the other way around. And it can be very, very difficult and very, very hard to have these conversations and to be able to live your truth, but without kind of blowing up your whole life and making the other person feel like their whole life was a lie. And I think that's where it is such a difficult topic, because your decisions impact on your partner.
Yeah. What do you say to someone listening to us now and they're in this very situation? They're married to this man, but they know that, they would love to be with a woman. They know that that's where they would really be happy. Or this guy who's listening to us, who's married to this woman, and they care about their spouses. They do. They've built wonderful families with them, but there's a yearning because they can see that there's something outside of this that would fulfill me completely, and they don't know how to balance it. I don't want to betray my spouse. I love my family, but I also want to be completely fulfilled, and I yearn for that fulfillment. What do you advise them to do? How do they approach this?
So I think, in these situations, silence is usually very, very damaging. People delay the conversation because they're afraid of hurting their partner or blowing up their life. But the problem with this is silence creates emotional distance. It creates confusion, often resentment or acting out. And the thing that you're trying to avoid, the pain for your partner, becomes much more prolonged and much more damaging. So I think the truth, when delivered with care, although it may hurt, it creates clarity. And clarity is what allows couples to make conscious decisions. It empowers you to decide, what do we do? Where do we go from here? And so I think although it can be so difficult, pretending this isn't there is not going to work in the long term. You need to start having you need to have those conversations, and you need to do it in a way that is the least hurtful. I think not blame we must avoid. It's not you. It's, I have been having these feelings. I have found my sexuality has evolved. My sexuality has changed. I found out new things about myself. Can we go forward together in some kind of a new way? Can we use what I've now discovered and still proceed in the marriage, or do we need to end the marriage? So I think communication, again, it comes down to communication. It's how you talk about things, and also it's the timing, the tone, the turf. Don't do it in the bedroom, making the person feel less than. Do it perhaps walking in nature, across the table when no one is in a rush. And definitely talk about how you feel, not blaming it on the other partner. You don't fulfill me. You don't make me feel, sexually awakened. It's got to be about how you feel so that the other person can move forward.
Absolutely. It's 24 minutes after 11 o'clock. I see your WhatsApps coming through. We'll start with them after the break.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This Sunday, something big is going down. The DP World Lions are in the one-day cup final at the DP World Wanderers Stadium. The match starts at 10 a.m., so it's the perfect day out with friends or family, and tickets are only 50 Rand. Look forward to big hits, big moments, live music, great food, ice-cold drinks, and you're short at 50,000 Rand with the one-handed catch. So round up your crew, fill the stadium, and back the pride. Sunday, the 29th of March at 10 a.m. DP World Wanderers Stadium. Hashtag the pride of Jersey.
Why speed through a midlife crisis on a superbike when you can get an SUV that gives you the same thrill and so much more? Don't settle. Get the Haval H7 from only 7699 per month that gives you 170 kilowatts of do whatever you like. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM, go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
This is what progress sounds like. At South African Airways, we've added more aircraft to the runway, increased our flights from just over 1,000 in 2021 to over 24,000 last year. And we continue to add more destinations and routes. It's steady progress over time. We know there's still work to do, but every day we're building something stronger. An airline that shares the resilience of the country it carries. South African Airways. Book your next flight at flysaa.com today.
20% off everything. Get to Dial-A-Bed today for amazing savings. All our famous brands in all sizes, all less 20%. Shop in-store or online today for your less 20%. Plus, get fast delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life. Offer excludes bases bought separately.
Small business owners speak a language of their own, and it's a language MTN Business and 702 understand very well. That's why we're celebrating SMEs who walk that entrepreneurial talk in the 702 MTN Small Business Awards. From the townships to the suburbs and everywhere in between, small businesses are proving that big things can grow from bold ideas. If that sounds like your business or one you know, go to primemediaplus.com to enter or nominate them, because once we start talking about your business, who knows how much further it could go. The 702 MTN Small Business Awards. Let's talk shop. T's and C's apply.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk.
On 702.
27 minutes after 11 o'clock on our relationship feature this morning, we're talking about how you navigate sexuality within relationships. Let's go to your WhatsApps.
Good day, Clement, and your guest there. My take on this issue is not like you guys have already just mentioned now. You know, the issue of asking how do you navigate it when your partner walks up to you and tell you they're now attracted to the opposite sex. I really don't think there's anything to navigate there, because when they get into the relationship, it's either they are gay or lesbian or they are straight. So if they were having feelings for an opposite same sex and they still kept quiet and get into marriage with you or into long relationship with you, and then 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line they'll say, oh, by the way, I do have a feeling for same sex. I don't think it's fair, and then I don't think there's anything there to learn how to navigate, because the only way to handle the situation is to just go our separate ways. And that's just my take on this. Paul here from Kempton Park. Nice show as always. Thank you.
Thank you, man, for your contribution. I mean, Nikki, you said earlier, and the solution is not always to just end things. You were saying earlier, open the conversation. If you come and you say, this is what I'm picking up, this is what I'm feeling, this is what my position is now on my sexuality, open the conversation with your partner and involve them in whatever decision then you guys are going to make, as opposed to just think this is going to end in the relationship or the marriage ending?
Yes, I mean, I think we need to redefine what does success in a relationship mean. We've been conditioned to believe that a successful relationship is one that lasts forever in the original form. But in reality, relationships are living systems. They grow, they evolve, or at least they actually should. So I think it's important to remember that if you are the partner who's been told that say your husband says, I'm gay, it's not about failure as a partner. It's about a shift in identity or awareness. And it's not because of you, although it still hurts. And both things can be true. It's not personal and it still feels deeply personal. But I think it doesn't automatically mean that your entire relationship was a lie. It doesn't mean that it means that something has changed and come into your awareness. And now how do you deal with this subject? What do you do? Some people are okay with living with no sex or maybe opening up the relationship. Usually, especially when the person is gay, it does require a breakup. But sometimes I found that the party that was, say, the injured, I'm putting inverted commas, the person whose partner left them, they are forced into a sexual awakening of their own. Because their partner has kind of left them, they start to think about what do they want? How can their sexuality evolve? And I'm not necessarily saying they also become gay or realize they're gay. I'm just saying that maybe they weren't so happy in their sexual relationship. And now they can choose what they want. And in a new relationship, they often find an amazing kind of rebirth, a reinvention of their own sexuality, because what they thought was what all there is now not all there is, and they've kind of found themselves in a new relationship. So sometimes all is well that ends well, even though it often doesn't feel like that at the beginning.
Yeah. Right. After the latest in Eyewitness News headlines, we'll go to more of your calls and WhatsApp voice notes. It's 11:32. Bali has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. Bali, what's happening with the ANC in Limpopo?
Well, Clement, a very good morning. The ANC's elective conference in Limpopo will proceed this weekend after the High Court dismissed an urgent application to interdict that gathering. A disgruntled branch member approached the courts to try and stop the conference from sitting due to concerns about the legitimacy of a digital device used to verify delegates. Limpopo Premier Popi Ramathuba is tipped to be elected as the party's provincial chairperson at the conference this weekend. The Fuel Retailers Association says it's received reports of around 167 of the country's 5,000 petrol stations running dry. CEO Reggie Sibia says they are monitoring the situation daily and assures the public that there is no fuel shortage crisis. He says the current diesel shortage is as a result of the 30% spike in demand. And the French government has denied being pressured by the United States to disinvite South Africa from participating in the G7 meetings in June. This is contrary to statements from the presidency yesterday that France had retracted its invitation, which was personally extended by President Emmanuel Macron during last year's G20 Leaders Summit, because the U.S. does not want South Africa there. Those are the headlines this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, traveling on the M1 South, we've got delays. This is between Greyston Drive and Corlett Drive. That's due to the roadworks that are taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling on the N3 North, an accident between the Elands interchange and the Geldenes interchange. Please approach with care. Heading towards the OR Tambo Airport, queuing traffic on the N12 East, approaching the R21 turn off, about a 15-minute hold up there. There's also slow-moving traffic on the R24 as well as the N12 West between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. If you're heading towards Amalgam, queuing traffic on the M2 West between Main Riff Road and the Crown interchange. That's your last update from me, Amo Ramela. Otherwise, Karabo Jali will have you next one at the top of the hour onwards. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Did you know that you are entitled to buy a new, demo, or used car without a service or a maintenance plan? You can also use an independent workshop for all servicing and maintenance needs without your warranty being automatically voided. Independent workshops are entitled to all technical info and parts needed to work on your vehicle, so you can shop around for the best price and service. Right to Repair. It's your choice. Visit righttorepair.org.za.
Welcome to Nando's Testimonials. Real reviews by real people. Today's testimonial comes from Jeff in Kempton Park. Now, Jeff seems to be a man of very few words. We've asked him to use his few words to tell us what he thinks of our flame-grilled peri-peri full chicken with any two sharing sides for $2.83. Jeff?
Nice.
Well, there you have it. When the meal is such a mouthful, you really only need a few words, I guess. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Do you remember the promise Nelson Mandela made to our country's children that they would grow up with dignity, protection, and hope? This Human Rights Month, we honor that promise as the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund marks 30 years of changing how society treats its children. In 2026, we celebrate a legacy that still calls on all of us to care, uplift, and make every child's future brighter, and to follow his example by loving children the Nelson Mandela way. The Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, celebrating 30 years of impact. Learn more at nelsonmandelachildrensfund.com.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
on 702.
It's 23 minutes now before 12 o'clock. We're in conversation with Nikki Brivik, who's a sexual wellness coach, as we continue our discussion around navigating sexuality within relationships. Have you found yourself in a heterosexual relationship where you had to tell your partner about your sexuality, you had to come clean, or maybe you were on the receiving end? Maybe it was your husband or your wife or your partner who told you about their sexuality. How did you navigate that scenario? And in cases where, as Nikki said, she has not seen this, but perhaps it's happened, the case, where someone has been in a same-sex relationship and now is in a heterosexual relationship. How did you navigate that? Were you able to find common ground with your partner, or it ended up in betrayal and the end of the relationship? You can call us, send us a WhatsApp voice note. Let's start with your voice notes on 0727021702.
Hello, Clement. This is quite a sensitive issue. A friend of mine, it isn't all advice from where I'm sitting, from the experience my friend had, especially if you are in a heterosexual relationship and you discover that, okay, you might be attracted to a guy. I'd advise you just, you quietly break up and move on, because of my friend once opened up to the girlfriend, and that this is the way I feel, and I want, how I want to end this. Did the girl not go and, just, it was so messy. She told the family, and this guy was not even ready to come out. It was just bad. I just wish the guy didn't even tell the girl. She was so bitter about it, and she made it hell for him. Prince.
Yeah. I mean, there are instances like that, Nikki, where someone may feel betrayed, or they may feel, oh my God, why are you only telling me this now? You probably knew, and we've built this entire thing. I've invested so much in this thing and you're telling me this. So those betrayals do exist. But to a point where you even go to the person's family and you start exposing them there and saying, this is what this person does. There are cases like that, yeah?
I mean, it's obviously extremely difficult for a person to receive news that their partner is gay, because it does call into question your whole relationship. And it's very, very hard to take that because, in fairness to this woman, she had planned her whole life with him. She thought they had a future together. And, it's very, very hard to kind of take that news. But silence is also not an option. I mean, this guy couldn't have just carried on staying in that relationship. And, I understand she acted in hurt. I suppose the family would have found out eventually. And she probably needed support and help. What does she do? Her partner's gay, and she might feel that he doesn't want her anymore. And it is a very, very difficult and sensitive topic, and it can be very, very hurtful, but not with intention. I think that's the thing. When you are exploring your sexuality and your authentic self has to come out, it's not because you want to hurt the partner. And I think that's why you just have to deal with it in such a very, very compassionate, kind, caring way. But the only way out is through. Sometimes it needs a lot of time for the person who's been hurt to get over it and to move on.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a number of messages that have come through, Nikki, so I want us to just go through them on the WhatsApp line. The first one says, "Hi, Clement and team. I once dated a guy who was basically discovering himself. He later asked for a meeting with my family, as we had been together for 6 months and my family knew him. So he came and told us that he is gay and can no longer continue with the relationship. Honestly, I was hurt because we had dreams and things we wanted to achieve together. So when he dropped the shell, when he dropped the bomb, I think that's what he meant, I felt like our plans were also crushed. Moving on was really tough, but I still appreciate his honesty to this day."
Exactly. That's exactly what we were saying. And I think that caller put it so well. And is grateful eventually for the truth.
Another one says, "Hello, Clement. I'm a gay guy. I met this guy a few years back and he had a girlfriend and a child, and he disclosed all that upfront. But he said that he's not sure about his sexuality. And he was handsome and all that. He charmed me. I fell for him. It turns out he wasn't really ready to venture into being bisexual. It ended up badly, and it almost destroyed me, especially emotionally. It took me years to forgive myself and move on." Another one says, "Clement, I'm battling with this matter. I don't know if I'm gay or bisexual. I enjoyed sex with both. Of course, with guys in hiding. I enjoy just dominating another man. Could it be deep psychological issue?" That's a question that Anonymous is raising there. Anonymous is not really sharing with us whether he's in a relationship perhaps with a woman and then secretly also being with men and trying to navigate that and balancing it. Like, do you want to be with this or that, or do you actually want to do both? But those are some of the messages that have come through. In some cases, Nikki, people get to a point where they say, okay, if this is a scenario we're faced with, let's consider an open relationship. What should couples carefully think through before going down this specific route of open relationships?
So I think, when couples are navigating this, if it's a gay person, the open relationship will not necessarily. It's basically changing the form of the relationship. So I think like any open relationship, it requires communication and honesty and trust. And those are very important things, because without them, you cannot have any relationship, never mind an open relationship. But it's about changing the form of the relationship. Are you willing to stay in a relationship that you're not going to have sex with the person? I think when it's a bisexual, when it comes to bisexuality, the conversation is more nuanced, because there you can still kind of have sex in the relationship. But I think it's about making agreements. Can your relationship accommodate the truth within its boundaries? And can you change the form of your relationship? And do you want to? Or do you want to find someone else, move out? As we said earlier, a relationship doesn't have to be forever. Sometimes they're not meant to be forever. So I think whatever relationship you choose, it needs to be with honest and open communication, and choosing together how you want to go forward with honesty. Because I think, like that one listener who wrote in, it was the dishonesty that is so ruinous to a relationship and to yourself. That's what cuts us. Even though the truth is difficult at the beginning, once we can overcome that and we realize it's not about us, then the truth sets us free. So I think it's all about communication.
Yeah. So because of course the instances where some couples will want to explore, maybe one person in that relationship wants to explore whenever they start feeling like, I'm navigating a sexuality dynamic here. So how can couples balance, giving space for exploration while still maintaining honesty and boundaries in the relationship? And I know you spoke a lot about communication, so I'm assuming here that don't go explore when you haven't had a conversation with your partner, because then it stops being honest.
Correct. Then it's about dishonesty and duplicity, and that's only going to lead to hurtfulness. But on the other hand, you also have to be honest with yourself and truthful with yourself. So it's such a difficult conversation. This, both parties are often hurt, but I think with time, like that one listener who wrote in, I think eventually, if you are honest and you handle it with dignity and kindness, when you kind of get to the end, both parties are in a better position, because suppressing your sexuality is also not an answer. Staying in a relationship when this is not true to who you are, that's also not an answer.
Yeah. There's another message.
It's difficult.
From Anonymous, Nikki, who says, "Hi Clement, I am almost 50 years old and I've been with my husband for 24 years now. And I just can't ignore my attraction to women anymore. I acted on it. I guess I wanted to see if I really am attracted to women, or is it just a phase? But it's definitely not a phase. And now I'm living a double life and a balancing act that takes so much from me. And it's so tiring. I have young kids and I don't want to disrupt their lives by coming out. Well, at least not now. And I am very much still in love and attracted to their father." That's a message there coming from Anonymous. And I mean, it's so complex because there are kids here that are involved. You don't want to hurt them. You're still also in love with their father. But then there's this attraction to women that you just can't shake off.
Yeah, so that is difficult. And you know, that shows how she hasn't been able to silence her truth, but she's chosen to be unfaithful. And she could choose to rather be honest. We don't know how her partner, how her husband might take that. Perhaps he would be open to opening up their marriage, to allowing a third party in. We don't know because she hasn't spoken to him about it. But the problem is her dishonesty here, as she says, is keeping her exhausted, keeping her, kind of caged in her own dishonesty. And I think that's where we go back to that whole let's be honest. Try and be honest with your partner, so that you can perhaps find a new way to evolve. In that particular relationship, you never know. It could really work. You just don't know because she hasn't had the conversation with the father of her kids.
Yeah. All right. It's going up to 10 minutes now before 12 o'clock. We'll wrap up with more messages after the break.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Andy Mashaile, security strategist. As things stand, Commissioner Masemola has not yet been charged for any offense.
You got it right. What is contained in the charge sheet in terms of criminal charges, if there are criminal charges, will glue our ear onto the doors of the courtroom. We might be picking up things like criminal charges that would be put against him. But for now, he is not directly involved.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Winning the work is one thing. Funding it is another. When growth moves faster than cash, Bridgement gives you the cash flow to deliver, even when timing works against you. Apply online in minutes. Get up to 10 million Rand in as little as 24 hours. Apply now at bridgement.com.
Bridgement. Business funding simplified.
In 2026, poor quality building materials is not an affordable risk. Don't tatama chance with low-grade materials and turn your home into a news headline. Homeowner scammed with poor building materials. Dream home turned to ruins. Imagine. Furthermore, spend 250 Rand or more in-store at Cash Build until 30th of April and you can stand a chance to win airtime, cash and product prizes this Easter. T's and C's apply. Visit Cash Build today for quality materials you can rely on. Cash Build.
Water is a precious and limited resource that we all depend on. Johannesburg Water continues to strengthen the city's water network through improved turnaround times for leak repairs, pressure management, and infrastructure upgrades to improve system reliability. But water conservation is a shared responsibility. Residents can help by fixing household leaks, turning off taps, taking shorter showers, and using water wisely. Every drop saved helps. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water, a water and sanitation utility that cares.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
on 702.
8 minutes before 12 o'clock, we've been having a conversation this morning on our relationship feature about navigating issues of sexuality in relationships, in marriages as well. And thank you so much for just sharing what your experiences are. I can only imagine how difficult it is to actually admit it to yourself and also be vulnerable enough to share your story with us. So I truly appreciate it. Nikki, we are going to wrap up now the conversation. There was a question that came earlier about therapy. Would you recommend therapy in these situations? And do you think individual therapy works, or is it more a couples therapy? Or must the person be brave enough to start that conversation with their partner? Or can you bring in a third party to facilitate that chat? Because sometimes people will feel a bit uncomfortable hearing it for the first time in front of somebody else.
Yeah, I think, therapy is always helpful. I certainly think for establishing what you need, for the person who is exploring their sexuality and coming to terms with this massive change that they maybe didn't realize was within them. Obviously, therapy is very, very helpful for them. Relationship therapy, that's not really going to help, because if the one is gay and wants to leave the relationship, then no. With regards to a bisexual person, then it could help. It could help establishing a new form of marriage. So a change in the system that you've chosen. So that can definitely help. But therapy I'm a big fan of therapy, so it can definitely help. Whether you want telling your partner that you are gay in front of the therapist for the first time, that's something you have to judge. You've got to know your relationship. I think you can't avoid pain, but you can move through it with integrity. And I think that's how you choose to do that. And the best way forward for you need to know that, because you've been the person in that relationship. And how do you change in a relationship? How do you handle the change? A relationship doesn't fail because of the truth, but because the truth doesn't have somewhere to land. And I think we just all need to try and be better and keep growing and keep broadening ourselves so that we can bob and weave with what life sends us, and that sexuality in particular is something that we don't look at expanding. And I think that's where my passion is making people look at their sexuality, not just their orientation, but how to enhance their lives through their sexuality and embrace every part of it. And sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes it leads to great rewards.
What are some of the key questions couples must ask themselves when deciding whether to stay together or part ways, or when deciding what decision really to take, what next step to take?
So I think that again is communication. Some people choose monogamy and honor their attraction internally. So, in other words, I'm still attracted to the other people, but I will stay monogamous to you. I think if you're gay, that's extremely difficult, because then you are actually completely suppressing your sexuality. But if you're bisexual, you are still attracted to your partner. So perhaps that is a choice. You could renegotiate your boundaries, perhaps have an open relationship like you said earlier. Some realize that their needs are just no longer compatible. And as we said earlier, that not all relationships are created for forever, and that we need to move on. So I think this just requires this open, honest communication. I don't think you need to rush it. I think the first conversation should be slow. These are the feelings I'm having. How do we deal with this? Is there somewhere we can go with this? Let the other person ruminate over it. And I think no decision needs to be made in the first conversation. I think we need to slow down and move in that way.
Take your time, Nikki,
correct.
Thank you so much for always being so gracious and guiding us through these complex situations. I really appreciate your time. Can't wait to chat to you again. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Clement. Can I ask your followers to follow me on Instagram? It's ask.nikki, N-I-C-K-I. And I'm on all the social platforms, but particularly Instagram. And I give lots of tips and advice and sex education that we all need. And all these topics that we discuss come up. So please follow me. And I've got a book coming out in June, Sexponential. So hopefully you'll come, Clement. I'm going to have a launch in Joburg.
No, I'll definitely be there. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Thank you.
Before 12.
Are your nails discolored, brittle, crumbly, or appear ragged? Are they thickened or starting to lift off the nail bed? You may have a fungal nail infection, which can lead to discomfort, limit your activities, and have a negative impact on your social life because of the embarrassment. New Turbane Nail treats fungal nail infections by directly killing the fungus. It requires no filing before application and dries in about 30 seconds once applied. Ask your pharmacist about New Turbane Nail and say goodbye to fungal nail infections.
At Checkers, Easter is better and better with extra savings on every shop. Get more for less with deals on Mr. Sweet Chocolate Mallow Eggs, 24 per pack for $99.99. Jacob's Krenning or Gold Caffeinated Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams for $159.99. And Baby Soft 2-ply White or Supreme Quilts Toilet Rolls, 18 per pack for $129.99. Deals valid until 6 April. Only at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
You wouldn't pay for a large cappuccino and walk away with a tiny cup. So why pay for car insurance that gives you less? Rather switch to Outsurance, like 40-year-old Rafiq, who saves 899 Rand a month on his 2017 Nissan Navara 4x4.
899. That's not small change. It's more than 50% that I saved from my previous insurer.
How much could Outsurance save you? SMS cover to 30995. That's cover to 30995. Licensed to insure and FSP. TCs and information online.
20% off everything. Get to Dial-A-Bed today for amazing savings. All our famous brands in all sizes, all less 20%. Shop in-store or online today for your less 20%. Plus, get fast delivery on our best sellers. Dial-A-Bed. Sleep for life. Offer excludes bases bought separately.
Coming up
On the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
Sure, Mandy, Dinsang. How are you? I'm teaching you Tsotsi Tao.
Thank you.
Are you good? So Dinsang is like, what's popping vandag?
And I thought I was
Dinsang
there.
vandag.
Clearly not. Clearly
What
not.
are you looking at?
The SIU wants a blanket lifestyle audit proclamation for high-risk departments. We'll speak to the acting head. The High Court in Limpopo has dismissed an application to halt the ANC's conference. We'll also look at the situation in the Eastern Cape, a new challenge there as well. The president is in the Free State. He's holding a cabinet meeting. We'll speak to the Tshwane mayor about the Midlanga Commission allegations. And it's Friday.
Sports and good things too. That's the Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Thank you for listening to the Friday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. We're back with you on Monday between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful weekend, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon. I'm Bali Dlamini. The ANC's elective conference in Limpopo will proceed this weekend after the High Court dismissed an urgent application to interdict that gathering. A disgruntled branch member approached the courts to stop the conference from sitting due to concerns about the legitimacy of a